behaved.
They might have heard that cackle, I'm just
Hello.
saying.
I heard no cackles. I heard no cackles whatsoever. Hello, everyone. You know, I also had this webpage muted, so I was like, oh, well, they must have all muted themselves. That's very conscientious. Like, no, it was me. I muted them, but everything's unmuted. Hello, everyone. Hello, indeed. Welcome to episode 6, which is shocking because it's alliterative, of Fate of Cthulhu, The Return of Carcosa. I am happy to be here with a marvelous cast whom I have only the most adoration for. I'm happy to be here in the hat that says I'm a friendly GM, not the evil King in Yellow, because that's different. If I change hats, you know, be concerned. Or not. I mean, you know, I'm not the boss of you. You can do what you like. First things first, I would like to go and thank our sponsors. We have a number of sponsors that have sponsored. So, you know, we have sponsors per season. Our seasons are about go up to 8 weeks, and we have, gosh, after this, 2 more weeks on this season, which is amazing. And we'll have some interstitial stuff. We've got a lot of really cool programming coming up that you should be excited about. I don't know if it involves these kinds of suits, but it does involve something. So, oh wait, we're in the King in Yellow. I need to be green because that's creepy. And I mean, it's not. So one of the things about Weave the Tale is that Weave the Tale is committed to making sure that the cast gets recompensed for their work and their labor and all of this, because it's a lot of, you know, behind the scenes stuff. And one of the ways that we can do that is by having sponsors. And I want to sort of shout out our sponsors first and foremost. I would like to say thanks to Christopher Gray, who's done The Great American Witch. And by the way, all these are people who are games that we are running. Broken Dice, the Nodwan Chronicles, Black Void Games, Black Void, Mighty Narwhal, Mora, Smunchy Games, Parslings. By the way, I lived in Germany for a long time. Whenever you get an S starting a word, you make it a sh, so it would be Schmunchy Games. And I just want to say that each time. And I know that's not how you pronounce it in English, but you just have to know it's there in my mind. Arcana Media, which is in Biru, Evil Hat Productions, which does our Fate of Cthulhu. Please check them out. Give them some love if you like. We are also affiliated with 2 different groups, Grinding Coffee, which is a Black LGTB plus owned coffee business that also delivers to your home. They will ship directly to your house, which means that you do not have to leave quarantine. Also, you don't have to get out of sweatpants if you don't want to, nor do you have to see eldritch creatures walking down the street. So all in all, it's a win-win. And if you get coffee from them, you can use the discount code Penny for a Tale, which is an affiliate link and will get you a discount. Also, here's the thing. We are currently using virtual dice, but virtual dice might be able to be corrupted by ancient old ones, which might make you nervous about using digital dice. You might want real life physical dice, which are much more difficult to be corrupted by old ones, or perhaps you could use them for a ritual if you put symbols on them. So either way, either to stop old ones or to help bring the old ones forward, you might want dice. And if you did, you might want to hang out with Dungeons and Dice, who we're affiliated with, and they have all of your dice needs. I don't know if they have ritual dice that will help you bring forth the King in Yellow, but you could ask. And while you're asking, you could use our our code, which is Penny for a Tale, which will give you 10% off of all of those Eldritch dice or regular dice. You know, I'm not the boss of you. Whatever you want. So in addition to all of that, however, I do want to say that there, besides getting these sponsorships, we also rely on tips and bits from you all to help us out, to help sort of pay for the costs of the cast, the art, the production design, the sound, all of that stuff that we have going on, all of those things that we have. And if you want to help us, you can do a number of things. First off, I suppose the one of the first things you can do is be here and watch the show, and go on over to YouTube and comment, like, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff for the Weave the Tale channel. Those things are really wonderful and helpful. But there are a couple of immediate things you can do that will also help our players. The first thing is that you can retweet our going live tweet, which is currently right here on my browser. And if you retweet it, there are things that can happen. At 20 retweets, the players will get something nice, something that will help them. It could be, I don't know, Care Bears, Pikachu, pie, flowers. All of those things can happen at 20. But then at 30 retweets, you can give me a present. The present, it's called a bane, but uh, what we mean by bane, Batman, is that you give me a present that I can do things to the players that make their life more interesting. And by interesting, I mean a little bit more difficult. And that's at 30, and at 40, you can give them something nice again because you felt guilty about giving me something nice. And so, that's how that works. Every 5 subscriptions, if you resub or sub, they will get a special group fate die that they can use to help themselves out when they're in really big trouble, or also use it for a little bit of a bonus to sort of make things a little bit better. So that's our retweets and subs. We also, if you want, you can actually donate directly to the show. And here's what happens with donations. We have 4 tiers, 3 and a bonus. The first tier is $5, and you can donate. For $5, you can create an aspect in a scene. So there are all sorts of things. Scenes have all sorts of aspects to them. It could be like dark and stormy, or it could be foggy. The room could be on fire, or we could have an aspect like there's cover, for example, or like, a crate of body armor. Who knows what kind of aspects could be there? But there can be an aspect that's put on a scene, and if you pay $5, then an aspect will go onto that scene. And Kitchen Bratland donated some aspects in the beginning, and those aspects also became the titles for our episodes because they were just very cool. So that's always possible for $5 only. For $10, if one of our players has a consequence, luckily right now they are clear of consequences. Things like, well, the players who are currently present are clear of consequences. Sour Fruit Junkie is playing a character, Elaine, who has a broken leg. So her leg is broken. And what happens is that those consequences will just shift downwards if you pay $10. So she has currently a severe consequence, which is real bad. But if you pay, not today because she's not here, but for $10, that'll go down from being severe to moderate, and then moderate to mild. She can clear those things up. It's very helpful. So that's nice. But that said, for $15, you can also clear corruption. Right now, only one person has corruption on their bar, and that is our John, who sometimes, talks to his dreams and pulls people into dreams and takes things from dreams. And sometimes he's seduced by Carcosa John, and who's not is not anybody's friend. Well, that's not fair. Carcosa John and the King in Yellow are really good friends. I don't know if that's a good sign, but it is what it is. So you can help clear corruption for $15 a piece. And those are all of our donations. And I want to say we have a bunch of safety tools in place for ourselves. We have lines and veils that we all did before the game started. And because they're a living document, they're constantly updated. And if you have lines and veils in your game, make sure to keep adding things. And I'm in a different game where we have a brand new thing that's actually, this is the week of adding new things to lines and veils, which is really great because it helps you make your game comfortable and safe for everyone. Besides lines and veils, we also have an OK check-in system that we're doing in our chat. If we can just check in with each other to say, hey, how are you doing? And is everything fine? We also have a red, green, and yellow card system. And that system is there so that, which you all can see it in chat as well. And that green card is like, we love what's going on, keep going. Yellow card is like, let's stay where we're at and not escalate. And red's like, let's put a pause right here and retcon that out. And we do all of those things so that we can all have a good time. We also make it so that you can see those cards, so that you can see safety tools in action, because we think it's important to sort of normalize the use of safety tools. And that, I think, I should tell you, one more disclaimer for safety's sake for you all as chat. This is the great old one for this campaign is the King in Yellow, and the King in Yellow deals with obsession, transformation, a lot of body horror, also a plague. The King in Yellow is a great old one's dealing with plagues, and so we're dealing with a bunch of plagues. So just know it that so if you are in a space where thinking about plagues is a little bit too much for you right now, do what is good for you, what is safe. If you have to take a break, take a break. And I believe that is everything with that. And with that, I want to get to the main thing, the pièce de résistance, the thing that makes everything perfect and wonderful, our players. And I would like our players to introduce themselves and tell us who you're playing. And let's start with the gal with a bell. Jackie Dash. Yeah,
That's me.
that is
Oh my
you.
goodness. My name's Jackie Dash, Jakidash. And I am so happy to be here. Stop it, Belle. I'm so excited to be able to take part in this Cthulhu game where we have to stop the return of Carcosa if we can. My own pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Haley Howler Rogers, Fitsona persona, who is now turning into a top 10 paranormal YouTuber. This week's list is top 10 haunted restaurants. Number 1, Mothman Pizza. So it's going, it's happening. And Haley's pronouns are she, her, and yeah, I just super excited to be on board and really excited to get another big milestone in the fight against Carcosa, or the return of Carcosa. I guess Carcosa is not itself a problem.
Could I ask you a question?
Of
It's
course,
really important.
bring it.
Yeah. What are the toppings on the main Mothman pizza? Because I really feel like I need to know the answer for this. Yeah.
So it's mostly just a thick layer of mushroom for the wings. And that becomes a problem because when you eat that slice, then you have mediocre crust, sauce, pretty, mix of cheese, and then like a can of mushrooms on top that are not cooked well enough. There's also pepperoni. There
only
is
2 pepperoni,
little,
right? Like just 2 pepperoni for the
right.
eyes? Yeah.
And then there's little olives in it on top of the eyes. So overall, it's not a good pizza, and it wasn't worth all the experience of going down there to try it. Would
That's
not
fair.
recommend.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, oh, there's pepperoni in this pizza. And there's just 2 pepperonis. That's it. Just 2. That is sad. Speaking of traveling to get pizza, I feel like if there's one person who's traveled a lot and probably has eaten a lot of pizza, it is probably Gideon Fox and or Jack. So, Other Doc, who are you and who are you playing?
Hello. How's it going? I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Jack Vasili, who, for the most part, no longer has to worry about Gideon Fox, at least as a separate person, as that was somewhat taken care of last time, much to his delight. He also, unless I hear any different soon, still seems to exist. So that didn't seem to take him out. So that's also much to his delight. No, let's see. He is he is from the year 2030. He is a former international thief who used to use the cover of the Gideon Fox identity as a stage magician to commit his crimes. And back in 2020, that was before any of that had been found out. And Gideon Fox was quite popular, and they just stabbed him to death during his own performance, which was somewhat cathartic.
And I'm sure there will be no negative consequences whatsoever.
None whatsoever. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, I will note that people played it off. There was some deception, and the audience tended to think that was part of the act. So at the moment, you are not wanted for murder. And then also the body sort of dissipated in a creepy way. So people were like, ooh, trick.
It's a magic trick.
It's a magic trick. A magic. Because because it was Haley who stabbed him with this very special knife that is quite red and hungers. It's cool. Don't even worry about it. Speaking about knives, the person who actually pulled that knife out of the dream space and also sort of the future was our dear own Wild, whom I love, and not just because you have awesome facial hair, which though that does help. Who are you and who are you playing? Thank you, Garamond,
Yes, hello.
for that raid. I also love your font. Go ahead.
I'm Wild at Wild Engineer on Twitch and Twitter, and I am playing John, a resident Dreamwalker who has another him who they maybe don't trust now because I don't know, maybe they're bad and evil or something like that. Who knows? Either way, they didn't give him a book.
And then let me see what else. I should say I forgot one thing. We have one other donation that I didn't say, and it is the miracle. And it is a one-time only donation. One time only. It is $100, and it's symbolized up there by the wonderful elder sign right up there. And that is a donation that if they get it, they can use it one time, and it will let them do something massive. It could save someone's life, stop someone from being corrupted. It could also, for example, positively impact the timeline in a mega way. So it's a big deal, and just know where it is. And we're going to talk about that timeline in about 3.5 minutes, probably 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, 1 minute, 45 seconds. Don't time me. I want to introduce our last player, who is also, however, our goddess in the sky. Although right now she's technically not in the sky. She's actually just right over there. Half-Hour's Hermit. Send it over. Who are you, and who are you playing? And when was the last time we saw you?
I'm Half-Hour's Hermit. I do GM on this channel, so if you were here on Monday, you saw me. But normally I'm just that voice in the sky that then becomes a writing in the green room chat that tells people to mute up for fuck's sake. That's just me, benevolent as always. But I'm very happy to be here today playing Renee Kane, who is a guinea pig of sorts for this whole endeavor, was a guinea pig of sorts for this whole endeavor. And, if you do experimental things to humans in a Cthulhu-themed world, that will always go well. Yeah. For me, it really only means that I don't actually have to wear pretty face makeup. I get to just put lines on my face and red under the eye and be my ugly goblin self, and that is nice. So I'm always looking forward to being able to guest spot here and go. That's the technical term.
Yes, that is the technical term. So and I'm Trooper SJP. I'm your GM, and I'm here for shenanigans and hats. Shenanigans and hats. So I thought what we could do is talk a little bit about the wrap up from last time. So last time we had them taking care of their second event, which was trying to stop. Well, they were supposed to get this book, The King in Yellow. Thank you very much. And get the King in Yellow and using that go and send the book back to the future. They decided not to. Our Wild. I'm gonna update this overlay for us so we can see it. It looks nice. Our John, while all the shenanigans up on the stage was happening, John had gone to the into the dressing room and picked up this actual play that they were meaning to go and return to the future, and they didn't know if they should or not. And one of the last things that happened last session is that the Goth team, which is alternate timeline versions of themselves, who had come back from the future, try to stop our team from sending this play to the future because they said it turned everything bad, showed up and asked for that play. And our John gave it to them, and they went off and they destroyed the play. And I will say that positive ripples happened in the timeline for our Goth team in this other moment. And so they've done a really good thing. They helped stop something really bad from happening for that Goth team, which I think gives that Goth team a little bit of rest or a little bit of peace. That was one of the things that happened. Other things, of course, is that now that Gideon Fox has been killed with a sacrificial ceremonial dagger by Haley, Haley wanted to just disarm Gideon Fox by cutting off his hand. And because of how fate works, normally that would have happened, right? Normally you can be like, I choose and when I want to take somebody out, I choose to just disarm them. And I would say, sure, that's great. But the dagger has other thoughts. And the dagger's like, no, I want to. I hunger, to quote a video game from the 80s called Sinistar. I hunger. And then so the dagger just killed Gideon Fox, which leaves a bit of a problem for our timeline, because Gideon Fox has been killed in the year 2020. And that might mess with the timeline. So our Jack, who is the future version of Gideon Fox, may have to go back and take the place of himself. Like, he may have to impersonate himself, and maybe he'll do things differently this time. We'll see. So we have our Jack, who may just have to be Gideon Fox a little bit. We have Aura, who was his ex, who was corrupted by Gideon Fox. There's a complicated relationship there. Who was almost killed for this ritual, is now going to sort of step in and become the stage manager for the show, and cover for Jack when Jack is off trying to stop these things. John is back. Haley has just killed someone for the first time, and we're going to find out how she's feeling about that. I don't know. She might be fine. And Elaine, one of our team leaders from the future, disappeared. She just winked out. And so we don't know where she went. She was gone. So I would love to give Roller, by the way, I think I gave Roller a shout out in the chat itself. So Roller, by the way, I see that $5 donation for an aspect, and oh yes, I see it, Roller 300, and it's going to emerge soon in a way that'll just be really good. I think what you wanted was a present for Jack, I believe, was what you wanted, Roller 300. It was a present, and I get to pick the present. So it'll be something that I like. Sorry.
Thanks
sometimes
so much.
A villain
Jim
laugh sometimes
will
gets in my
remember
throat.
this, Roller.
Roller, I appreciate you very, very much. You make me very happy. Let me just see. Where are we at in our retweets? Because I just want to know, where are we at, everyone? And
One
we are
more.
at-
One more to counteract whatever evil concoction Trooper has brewed up.
No, I just retweeted, so we're at 20. So there's a boon for them. There's a boon for them. But if you would like to give me a boon, just 10 more retweets would be real great. I'd appreciate it. So let's talk about the timeline. So this is our timeline, the King in Yellow timeline. And as we left off, actually where they are, each one of our team, let me get over here so you can see it. Let's see, timeline dark. Over the course of this adventure, each one of our team members, our team as it were, they were able to, choose the side. They were able to get 2 positive ripples, and the villains got 2 negative ripples. And these ripples change the timeline a little bit, and I can show you what they look like when we do it. So if you're going to run your own game, you can do that. And I believe where we left off was they have one in the bank, and everything else is done. So when we finish an event, which we just finished, to discover the conscience of the king, there is a timeline aspect, which is currently they're here to stop us. And once they finish that event, our team, our players, not me, they can rewrite that aspect. And so I ask you, how would you like to rewrite that aspect to reflect the positive changes that have the outcomes of what you have all done?
I think we're gonna suggest we do they're here to stop us and changing it to they came to help.
They came to help? Well, it's tricky because they didn't really come to help you. They didn't come to help you, but they might be helping you now. They came to kind of slightly murder you, but you did convince them that was maybe not a good idea, and they're no longer here to murder you, which is good. I think that's good. What do you think? They're here to help us? They're here to... What would you like?
So there was a thing that we were sort of batting around beforehand about just maybe phrasing it, they're here to help us with a question mark. But that's, I don't know. I just don't know how people are feeling about that per se. I just threw that out.
I have a thought.
Please.
How about something like they've set us up for success? Because you could use that to say that they have maybe left something for you, or because they're running around, right? The goth team is running around out there in the world. And if you said something like, they've set us up for success, or they've something like that, or I suppose they're here to help us would even work too. That you could then, you could spend a fate point. You could do something like that to say, hey, right, they've left something for us, or they've set something up for us, they've set up something positive for us. I feel like you could use that in a bunch of different ways. But Jackie Dash, you had a thought.
No, I'm more trying to somehow signal that they've changed their minds.
Yes.
And so I like that, they set things up for us, because that's beneficial in some ways. But I just I'm tugging at that, and so I'm gonna think about that for a little bit, and I'll let you guys have open space, because I want to welcome more conversation about it.
I like that. How about for at the moment? You know what? I just want to say someone set us up the bomb. That's a really great aspect name, but I feel like it's maybe not the best one for right now. But I still like it. I just feel like there's got to be an aspect. Someone set us up the bomb. But know your memes, everybody. Somebody set us up the bomb. Yeah. How about if I just put they're here to help us with a question mark for now, and if you like something better, just let me know and I'll just change it. Boom.
Yeah, I like the question mark. I think that was a really good addition to that.
Yeah. So when you do that, when they finish an event, you can go through and change any of these aspects in the event, which they have. Each event has a person, place, thing, or a foe. And by the way, their foe was their what do you call them? Their alternate selves, alternate future selves. Surprise. But you have both you have evened out your positive and your negative. So nothing really changes in terms of positive or negative. It kind of just stays where it's at. But there are 2 negative ripples and 2 positive ripples. And those things do impact the timeline in general. I'm going to start with the positive. One of the 4 things in the Rise of the Great Old One will be made slightly more positive. And let's just say, would you like person, place, thing, or foe?
Sorry, I think we're all very nervous, and so everyone's
it's your choice. It's your choice. Would you like the person to be less? Because right now, everything is real bad for you in the future, and now one thing will be a little bit less bad in the future, but you get to pick which one: person, place, thing, or foe.
Me personally would like thing, but what does everyone else think on that?
Go with your gut.
I'm actually leaning toward thing too. Also,
right.
thing two also as well.
Yeah, I like thing two. So now that thing, the impossible architecture, will be, rather than just fully negative, will be neutral. And you get one more positive thing. And let's see, the plague is spreading or the king is here. Why don't we put that second positive thing at the king is here? Since that's,
the king is stuck in traffic.
The king is stuck in traffic. You can choose person, thing, or foe is less terrible.
I
Your
feel
choice.
like, and this is now a group discussion, if we have to fight someone less, it might be good for us. Like the pallid mask is gonna be bad. Like there's no way we can make that neutral. But like the foe being just like to us might be good.
Oh, we could definitely use that to our advantage.
All right. Your foe is no longer super negative, just a little neutral. But yeah, that's great for me. So those are your 2 positive ripples. Let's talk about your negative ripples. So we need to put 2 negative ripples. I would say one in the plague is spreading and one in the museum. So that negative is either going to go, well, actually, it can only go to the person, Nigella Clark, the director of the museum, because the other 2 have already been changed, and we don't change things backwards. So that person who was neutral is now going to be negative. You don't know what that means, but you'll find out when you get there. It's cool. Don't worry about it. And would you like the person or the place in the place you're going right now to turn negative? I would recommend place.
Yeah. I feel like place is better than having a doctor trying to find a cure against us.
I agree. I think that's pretty good reasoning.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
And I just say that because I know where you're going, and there are a lot of not great things happening there right now. Surprise. All right. So with that, you have currently 1 positive tick on your timeline track. If you can get 3 more, you can get some positive ripples, and hopefully the villains won't get them before you do. In chat, in case you want to know, one of the main ways the villains get those checks on their side is when our heroes use their corrupted stunts. Pardon me. Thank you. If we could we go back to our regular screens, I think we can begin and just have a little bit of joy. And so, you've had quite a bit of a time in this last moment, but one thing that sort of stood out before Elaine sort of winked out of existence, and you thought, oh gosh, when will she be back? Maybe she'll be back in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and it's a half hour. And she just doesn't come back, and you don't quite know where she went or when she will. But there's one thing I will just note, that the chat's like, wait, there are way too many red negatives. Oh, there are way too many red negatives. A miracle will help with the central timeline negatives, but they don't have one right now. So, I mean, I'm not worried. I mean, they might want to be worried, but I'm not. Also, you might note how much corruption they all have, which if they get more corruption, that's super bad for them. I'm not worried. Yeah, I'm just noting how Jack is only 1 is real close to being a full corruption right about now. So very excited about that for me. Just in case.
But if he doesn't use it today, then it goes down 1.
That is
so we
correct.
just got to be on our best behavior, everybody. Like,
yeah. If you don't gain any corruption in the entire episode at all, then you get to remove 1 corruption, or the audience can donate $15 to remove 1 piece of corruption pie. That is also a possibility. We'll see. And remember, when they get corrupted, well, eyes grow on their faces, and their limbs get long, and things happen. It'll be fine. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, there you are in the aftermath of this show. But the one thing that was perhaps most concerning, that our John does not yet know, is that he started exhibiting signs of the plague. The plague of the King in Yellow. Where did he get it? Well, he probably got it when he was back in old Carcosa as the Quiet One. Sometimes what John does is that John brings things back with him from his dreams. And it seems as if what he brought back with him from his dreams was the plague that started this whole thing. And as John was standing in that line to get into the show at the Greek Theater with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the crowd jostling and bumping up against him, one by one, those people also got the plague. But nobody knew it, because in the home timeline, the plague starts very, very small right now. Nobody even really pays attention to it in 2020. It really, really, really starts picking up just in the last couple of years before everything goes bad, like 2027, 2028. But I mean, I suppose one of the questions is, how did the plague even get here in the first place? And I suppose now we know. John brought it back with him to 2020. Or probably that's how it happens. And Coldrake wonders how hungry is John tonight? Ooh, John's famished. So, our team, I will ask you. You are, let's say, in a hotel room, probably Gideon Fox's hotel room. It's all three of you. Aura is down at the Greek Theater taking care of business because, you know, there's things to take care of. But all three of you there at that moment. And by the way, Roller, I'm not going to put your aspect on this scene because I want to wait till they actually get to Sierra Leone so that it messes them just a little bit more because I care. You know, because I care. But you're in this hotel room and you have to think about how to deal with this. What are you going to do? Elaine's not back. You have two different events to deal with. Two different timeline events. One to find a cure for the plague, and one to stop the pallid mask. We'll stop the King in Yellow from getting the pallid mask to destroy it. And you're in this hotel room. Other Doc, would you describe what Gideon Fox's hotel room is like?
Oh, he's got a suite.
Yeah.
He's incredibly ostentatious and flashy. This was as he was about to get into the height of that. And he was, I think 2020 is before he started getting like really sloppy. So it's not, it wasn't, but he was still managing it. You know, he was still managing to do the whole, doing one thing ostentatiously, moonlighting is another thing that's not at all ostentatious type deal. And
he wasn't yet seduced by fame.
Yeah. Yes, he was getting seduced by fame, quite certainly, but it was not quite. He hadn't started making terrible mistakes yet. At least in the original timeline. So this hotel room is very big. It's basically like so one of those. So something analogous to a penthouse suite, probably.
Yeah.
Because he was basically, you know, he made a lot of money from different things, including not just the stage show, but you know his real job, and so there's you know there's a lot of just kind of I feel like he'd probably have gotten a room if there was a themed room with like strange tacky neon stuff in it. He probably would have gotten that.
Oh yeah.
So like,
oh yeah,
it's probably the same hotel that Ian was in, but it's you know, like upper floor, and so you have so you actually have space. There's actually enough space for all of us to sleep here on the various like beds or couches or rollaways or whatever is in here.
Oh yeah.
But you know, there's a TV, there's a jacuzzi, there's a you know, there's something analogous to a second bathroom, probably balcony overlooking stuff. So very ostentatious.
There's probably also quite a bit. There's probably a spread of food, like on one of the tables, like post-show food. Like there's probably like like a really nice spread, right? You know what I mean? Like I can imagine there being sandwiches, like a bunch of different sandwiches, you know, like there's your gluten-free, there's like a, you know, vegetarian, there's like a tuna salad. There's like a big spread of sandwiches.
He was probably going to have a bunch of people up here, you know, as sort of like a wrap party type deal, or at least that was, he set up for it. He probably was planning for something to happen when the play went down, or something he thought was going to happen.
Yeah,
but, I don't know. I think Gideon probably was full of himself enough that he thought there would also be a rap party afterward. So
that really sounds like him.
Yeah.
I'm going to go bring back the King in Yellow. Then I'm going to go to a rap party, and you're like, okay, Gideon.
Figured the rap party would be the King in Yellow would be at his rap party. I don't know. He doesn't know why.
Which is like a big deal. There's probably also champagne. There's probably cake. You know what I mean? There's probably like a bunch of stuff. And I just mentioned all that food because hey, John, how are you? besides super famished and feeling a little hot?
It's a little hot and a little flush, you know. I feel like I got a little tingle in the back of my throat. So there's something going on there. I'm pretty sure just some water and just some dehydration should help, you know.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. How much of that food do you eat?
Well, I mean, who knows? As long as it's there, I'm just, you know, just packing out, just eating throughout the night. Doesn't really stop. I mean, if no one else is here to eat it, may as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't
Can't
want
let
this to
good
go to
food
waste.
go to waste.
Yeah, no, not at all. Can I get medicine from Haley and or from Gideon? I will take. Well, medicine's for academic. Academic from Haley. From Jack, academic or notice. Yes, one of those two.
Notice.
would also work.
Notice is my best shot.
Do
And
it.
it's not great. Let's see if I'm too distracted right now. Sorry, go ahead.
And from me, you want academics, not like empathy or like investigate, but just academics.
Investigate would be a longer term situation, which means you can do. That's an average for Jack. Do you have notice?
I have
do
I
have
have a notice one. Sorry.
No. But does Haley have notice?
I have one of my average skills is notice. So
You can
want me
give
to
him
roll
a
that
plus
one?
1. No, you can just give him a plus 1.
done.
So you might notice, the thing is that you might notice some things, Haley, about how much John is eating, or like his face being a bit flush. You might notice some of those things, but you don't really know what they mean, if that makes any sense. But maybe you might, like, you notice that he sort of coughs, like he has a sore throat perhaps. But none of these things mean anything to you. But you just sort of, perhaps you make a comment to Jack about it. You might just say something to Jack, which means, Jack, you do notice them. You notice that he seems a little flushed. You notice his like a bit of a cough, maybe a sore throat. That his skin looks a tad, has a bit of a slight yellow sort of undertone to it. And you don't need to roll academics really, because you know these symptoms very well. These symptoms are the symptoms of the plague.
Oh crap.
And in your time frame, they just take a couple of 2 weeks, 3 weeks before a person's dead, probably. Although near the end, it was just then a couple hours. It was like 2 or 3 hours and they're dead. And then it just became kind of immediate, which is not how these things work. And you notice it. Before you say anything, though, about it, I want to just remind the audience, and by remind, I mean just let you know, because you don't know this, that actually John and Haley know each other. They have been acquainted for some time. And I suppose I would ask, while Jack is putting 2 and 2 together, Haley, do you say anything to John about all of this?
About the murder? Or
maybe everything? I mean, like, I don't know. It's been a lot. Like, I feel like you've just come back from it's been a lot is all I'm trying to say. You just came back from the future. There's been a murder. You almost got murdered. You've seen your brother. Like, there's just a lot going on. I don't know. And he's been dreaming in weird ways. I don't know if you want to chat with him about it. I don't know how you're feeling.
No, it definitely, there's champagne. And I think Haley pours out enough for the group, and just starts to take some sips. And so, as you do when you're talking over champagne, you kind of like reminisce about successes and how, you know, I'm back and it was a struggle, but all in all, I think that was a success. I wasn't here the first time around, but we didn't have a hotel room when I jumped back. So I'm going to make the assumption you didn't party it up after closing that entrance to Carcosa. So let's toast it up. Like, we all did hard stuff here. Let's cheers to our victories and whatever we got left. We're going to find Elaine. I mean, knowing our track record, I'm probably going to kill 2 more people. But that's fine.
You killed 2 people so far.
Yeah. What, you know, I was a little bit late. I mean, actually probably was the same time. I don't know how time works. And you could tell Haley is kind of throwing on this, like, John has seen Haley in a lot of different forms. I think John has seen Haley when she was 100% Fitsona. I think John has seen Haley in book nerd form where she had her laptop and she hasn't left her room in like 2 days and then slams on his door with knocks asking for specifically a clue. And I think John can sense she's putting on the facade right now. The like hotel room champagne facade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
John's sort of like, are you looking forward to possibly maybe killing 2 more people? It's an odd way to say things, Haley.
I don't know if I'm looking forward to it. I'm just saying we did it. And if we start drawing lines of what we can and cannot do, I don't know if we're going to get anything done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did it, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But maybe we shouldn't go down that path. I mean, this isn't as fun as, I don't know, trying to figure out monster stuff was. This is kind of...
Yeah.
I mean...
Agreed. I think, you know, doing the exploring and following clues, and it was kind of fun when your dreams were dreams.
Yeah. I don't even think you could post about this kind of stuff if you would even want to. Do you even think you would get any viewers from things like this? Or?
I'd probably fake it up a little bit, like, you know, take away some of the truth in it. And no one likes 100% truth. I mean, every photo I post has 10 filters on it. I mean, Jack, you know, if your magic is too real, it doesn't work, right? It's got to be a little bit fake.
And Jack kind of is over by there's this room also has a small fireplace in it. It's
yeah.
I'm discovering
and
very
probably
important
also like
in,
a gaudy electric guitar over the fireplace. I imagine it's like the Rock and Roll Suite or whatever.
I'm finding it increasingly important to include fireplaces in any game that I'm in. But anyway, so basically, Jack is kind of on the phone. He's on the phone actually talking to Ian for a second while he's getting ready. He's carrying that red jacket over one arm as he's sort of turning back. He's like, no, it's okay. No, I just need you. No, these appearances will be fine. No, you know what? I don't want you to wear that at all. And just tell them it was makeup. That's fine. No, what? Oh, no, we're not going to worry about. You're never going to have to worry about wearing that jacket again, he says, and he tosses the jacket into the fireplace. And as he's turning around, he lowers and he says, "Yeah, no, I got to go. Okay, yeah, no, there's a lot I got to do right now. That's why I need you to fill in. It'll be okay, man. It'll be no, yeah. That is weird. I don't know how that would have happened. You could have gotten stuck in there for so long. That I'm glad you're out now. I'm glad you're okay, and we'll have lunch when I get back. Okay, it'll be fine. All right, great. Talk to you later, Ian. Okay, bye." Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. What was it? What were we talking about? The
I think
something about
yeah. No. It was No, I apologize. It's the champagne. When you perform, there needs to be that layer of fakeness, right? Like you can't put out the truth.
I used to think that. I did. A story isn't necessarily a lie, though. That's kind of what it came down to for me. I really just, look, John, stories, I think, possibly better than most of us. Oh, crap. John? How much of that have you eaten?
Eating something right now.
Weren't all three of these trays full earlier when we came in? Oh, crap. Are you?
I mean, you weren't eating.
No, I'm fine. That's not what it's about. And he's turned on the light on his phone and he's looking down. He's sort of shining it for a second. And he said, "Just give me a second." He's looking at John. Holy crap. John, have you been feeling feverish recently? Have you been coughing at all? Yeah, I've been a little.
No, I'm fine, Jack. It's nothing worse than what any average worker has to work through.
Yeah, no, you've got it, haven't you? You've got your. I can tell by the. No, you're. Okay. How the hell? That shouldn't be possible.
What is it? What is? Does he?
He's got the
stage flu.
No, I think he's got the plague. He's got the plague from 2030. He's got the plague from 2030. I don't know how the hell he's got it.
I'm sure you're right, and it's not possible. So there's no way this is the plague. I mean,
did you do one of those loop-de-loops like me and jump to 2030?
No, I don't think so. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately, so I probably just, whenever I'm sleeping bad, I always just catch a little bug here or there. It's probably nothing. I'll work through it.
Maybe if you
need, I'll pop into the drugstore, get some ibuprofen, or I'll take some cough syrup or something. I'm sure it'll be fine. I just gotta sleep it off like usual.
Man, if this is the plague, you've got maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks to live. If it's not the advanced version. And oh my God, I'm so sorry we dragged you into this. Oh crap. Okay. Okay, to be on the safe side here, because this shouldn't be possible. What I'm seeing right now shouldn't be possible. But I mean, just look at him. He's sweat. No, you've never seen this before. Oh crap. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. Well, hell, the person who was working on it was in Sierra Leone. That's one of our missions. Maybe we should go there next. Just in case. See if we can maybe figure something out.
Flash forward. As John has a little bit of a bloody nose, just a little bit of a bloody nose, Jack remembers the future when Jack and Elaine were sitting in the briefing room, getting their sort of briefing over the different events that they have to deal with, right? Because there are a bunch of different sort of there are 4 sort of flashpoints, and you remember Valerie de la Rosa, the woman, you didn't know her name, but the woman, Haley, that you murdered while you were in the future, the one who was who was taking care of the ritual, Elaine's best friend. Maybe don't tell her you murdered her best friend, or do. I'm not the boss of you. You do whatever you want. And the woman with the knife, where you got the knife from? It's cool. She was giving you both the briefing about sort of this moment, and she says, you remember you're in like this sort of underground briefing room where you were doing all of your rituals. She says, well, we know that there were no sightings, she says, of the King in Yellow before 2020, when it appeared just in London, just out of nowhere. But there were signs that the King in Yellow was coming, and these signs now in hindsight were very clear. And one of the signs was a series of mysterious outbreaks of a new virus that started mutating very quickly, making it just almost impossible to fight against or even contain. And the thing that was sort of difficult was there were all these different outbreaks that happened all at once. Different, we thought they were different strains, so much so that people didn't even think they were the same disease. They just thought all sorts of different new diseases happened out of nowhere. But many of these, a number of them happened they started, the small ones, happened in 2020s when they started. Very small, very, very small at the beginning. But they sort of, by the time we hit 2030, we were in a massive pandemic. So many places in 2030 were so plague-ridden that all the people were almost already fully corrupt. And so when the king came, the king just took over everything in hours. The very first outbreak of this new disease that we can trace back historically happened in Sierra Leone in late 2020. Originally, everyone thought that it was Marburg hemorrhagic fever because it had similar symptoms: hunger, fever, chills, sort of jaundiced skin, hemorrhaging, organ failure. Many of these things, itching, although with a strange hunger that was not really explained, but it has a 50 to 80% fatality rate. And then, of course, this thing that started so small, it was almost nothing in 2020, what spread over the years and became the most common strain of the king's plague, we call it now. Now, what is interesting about this virus is that even though there were several different viruses that all mutated, they actually all had enough similarities that a cure for one would be a cure for many of the others. So what we need was a cure, of course. There's a woman, Dr. Lisette Brodeur, and she found a cure for these diseases. But she found the cure last year in 2029, and by then it was too late to do any good because it had just spread too far. So she has died. We went to find her, and when we found her labs, everything was, she and everyone else had contracted it, and they were all dead. They were monsters, of course, we had to kill. But we did find her notes and journals. They survived, and we've brought them here with us. They're not with us, they're on a different team on the other side. But we have almost enough information from her journals to synthesize this cure. Almost. We're just missing one thing. Her notes, they refer to an unusual protein. She refers to this all the time, but it's not, but the parts of her notes that describe what the protein is, they're missing. So we cannot reproduce the cure here in 2030. But this protein that she talks about, she first encountered it when she was dealing with victims of the very first outbreak in Sierra Leone in 2020, when she was working with Médecins Sans Frontières, when they were trying to contain this disease, when they still thought it was Marburg. And what we're thinking is, if you can go back with the notes that we have, we've made copies from our other station, you will have everything you need to make a cure except for this protein. So if you can go back to her, and we know it's messing with the timeline, but if you could go back and meet her in 2020 and give her her notes and find out what this protein is, then she could make the cure in 2020 for this disease, not in 2029 when it's too late. And if she could make this protein, if she could make this cure, and if she could put this cure out in the earliest part of the outbreak, this vaccination, if she could make the vaccination, we could maybe break the cycle of this plague, or at least slow it down. Even a few years delay, it might pop up somewhere else, but even a few years could be just the difference between people who are healthy and can fight off the King in Yellow and those who are too weak to stand. So, your mission is to go to the port city of Bonthe on Sherbro Island in Sierra Leone during this outbreak, which is very small. Find Dr. Brodeur, get a sample of this unnamed protein, and from there, if you can with her, use her facilities to synthesize a vaccination, a cure, and then treat as many people as possible. See if you can contain this plague before it gets too big. But again, this is, well, it shouldn't be too difficult. As far as we know, there are only 5 or 6, 7 cases, maybe 10 or 15 back in 2020 of this disease. So go back there to the island, talk to her, convince her that these notes are hers, work with her to make a cure. And maybe what took her 9 years to discover will not take her 9 years this time. And we can save the present. I believe in you all. And Jack, that is your remembrance of the briefing you had in the future that would maybe make a big difference.
Okay. And one thing I just would like a quick clarification on, if I may.
Please.
You mentioned that that there's a copy of the notes that were somehow to get back to her.
Mm-hmm.
How did how did that get transmitted? Because I know we couldn't bring anything physically back with us.
You can't take anything physically back, but they buried the notes in the graveyard where you were supposed to put the play.
Okay. So they sent someone else back to do that. Is that the idea?
No, they did it in the future, hoping that it would work. But they also gave you enough. They're like, I don't know if it'll work because they can't sing things back. But they gave you enough of a briefing of what the cure was that you could tell her personally. Gotcha, hopefully the notes will be there, but they don't think that's how it works. But they decided to, like, we'll put it in the graveyard now, and maybe it'll help. Probably not, because that doesn't tend to be how it works. But you have been given the briefing of what you can tell her to help her. You had to memorize bits of her notes, which were all very complicated, but you had to memorize bits so you can give the lineage back. Mm-hmm. And each one of you on the team had to memorize, right, these passages in case not all of you made it. And sadly, Elaine is not here to do that.
So, Elaine understood it. I probably just memorized it sort of much the way that I do lines for for stage work. So it's just like, I'm not sure what I'm saying, but I'm going to sound like I have conviction when I say it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if he has it now, well, he might need that cure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you going to do?
So if there are no objections, going to set up set up our flight to Sierra Leone.
And that will be your boon. Your boon will be that you can get your travel no problem whatsoever to get yourself to Sierra Leone through your contacts.
Yes. Just
which
call
means
Reggie.
Probably
get the plane ready.
Yeah, call Reggie, get the plane ready. Probably will not have to deal with customs or passports or visas or security checks. Those are things that none of those things are things you're going to have to deal with for reasons. Is there anything you want to do to prep before you get there?
Is this plane gonna have other people on it? Like, because now the question is, and this is probably like the next day when we're all like, there's probably a scene where we all are packing our things, and Jack is telling us everything, and Haley's a little hungover, and Haley is like sitting on her, of course, matching set of roller bags. So how do we stop the am I sick? Am I now like what?
Well, we never really figured out entirely how the thing gets transmitted. At least I'm not sure, but you don't look it yet. I mean, it looks like a lot of different things, but the hunger is always the main component. So if you start feeling hungrier than usual, then you'll know.
Haley, I mean,
All
you do burn off a lot of calories. I mean, you're often hungry. I mean, that's great metabolism.
Right. I have lots of shaker proteins packed. Like, we have a little protein bags, but I'm just like, and like, of course we're gonna do everything we can for you, John. Like, I want to be very clear. We're going to do all we can. And then like Haley is gonna walk up to like Jack and be like, so what do we really do? Like,
well, Dr. Roder apparently is the one who eventually comes up with it. I've got the formula memorized, or as much of it as we have, and I have no idea what it means. I really wish Elaine was here so she could help explain context, but she's not here, so we got to do it. So I'm just going to spout out a bunch of lines at Dr. Broder and hope to God she knows what it means and can make a cure. She should be working right now on what the first small outbreak was something, I think it was Marburg, I think it was called, is what they thought it was. And so just going to go up, try to help out and see if we can get it that way.
I mean, that's great. Basically then, and then now Haley turns to John's like, you're just the best gift then. You're just 10 years early.
I'm pretty sure I'm not sick, y'all. I mean, I'm sure y'all just worried for no reason. It's just the usual common cold or something.
John, have you ever been this hungry in your life? Think about it.
Would your opinion change if I said yes?
Man, I'm sorry if it seems like I'm fussing needlessly over this, but believe me, this is serious. I lost friends and family to this. This is how Aura died originally. This is how. And I just sort of glance over briefly in Haley's direction, and then I stop myself. A lot of people died, all right? And I just don't want to see that happen again. We're gonna get this cure, okay?
I'm sure nobody wants to see anyone die again. I think the prep John is going to make is going to be just to be the good old-fashioned hardworking American and work through the sickness, downplay all the symptoms, and try to make it seem like he's not sick at all.
Can you make a will roll? Either will or physique. No, this doesn't have to be will. This will be will. Make me a will roll.
Sure. I can make a will roll.
That's what I need from you. Oh, a 5. That's great.
Just a 5.
You are going to get a temporary advantage because I care. And that temporary advantage is going to be walk it off, is what it's called.
Nice.
Oh my God.
That's what it's called. And it has one free invoke. And at any time when you might need, to just walk it off, you can spin that free invoke for, as basically a free fate point. Because, you can just walk it off. Like, it's fine. You're not sick. Just walk it off. What about you, Haley? What kind of prep would you like to do before you leave? By the way,
I'm gonna
John,
try to
do the bloody nose again. Just so you know, just a bit of a bloody nose one more time. It's fine. Go ahead, Haley.
I think this is gonna be 2. I know that
Mhm.
Jack arranged transportation, which is incredibly helpful because I don't think Haley's got that much. But like, is there a way I have contacts across there that can help us get to wherever this doctor is? And I think that's going to be kind of my thing of like, hey, what city is she in? Does she make appointments? Like, I would like to try that sort of thing so that like they know we're coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a pin on that one for 1 second. I'm gonna want you to roll contacts,
Okay.
but just give me. I'm gonna ask what Jack wants to do first because I wanna finish with you with your prep because that prep's exciting. So Jack, is there any prep you want to do? Do you want any prep you want to do besides getting our transportation?
Understanding now that I have to plan around the fact that I no longer have the same number of decoys out there pretending to be me. Well, I say pretending to be me, being me in this era that I had before, and so now therefore I have to account for. Then we're doing part of that with Ian, but I feel as though just in case I get this feeling, I'm gonna need to book something happening. Unfortunately, Jim's geography is failing him, but he's going to probably want to book something in the vicinity of Sierra Leone, and just kind of also remembering the way that the way that often press happened, especially also potentially around Haley during this time. He's going to so that you don't necessarily have to hide it. He's gonna he's gonna arrange for. Actually, through his people, he might actually, Aura might be able to help him with this. Looking into the potential of doing kind of a charity gig down there for this Marburg situation that they have going down there to try to sort of hook things up that way. And then so that way it'll look like we're supposed to be there, and then we'll have again we'll be. Having Ian come down and do certain things, certain public appearances in sort of the area, so that I can get around to do what I need to, where I need to be.
Siberia. So Sierra Leone is in West Africa, and it's next to Liberia and Guinea. So your best bet would probably be Ghana. Right, so like around there, probably Ghana or the Ivory Coast, probably the best place to do a charity event, especially at a shorter notice. And Aura, Coldrake asked what happened to her. Aura was, rescued, and she's taken over her old job. She had been stage manager of the shows, but she left because some people were kind of sketchy. Gideon Fox, but he's dead now, so it's cool. And she's like, I can go back to being stage manager because Gideon Fox is dead. And so because she's in the know now about things being creepy, she can run a lot of that production work, giving you a bit of a cover. So I'm going to need from you, can I get contacts from you? I think that would be the best way to go from you.
Fear. Okay. Let's see. Did I remember too? Nope, I did not. That was one of the ones I think I was going to swap, and I didn't do it. But that's all right. Doesn't matter.
Well, you can do it now because you haven't made a roll yet.
That's true. Which thing was I going to
You just can't swap notice, that's all.
That's true. I can't swap notice. That's true. I'm gonna swap it for empathy because I'm going to be I gotta move something down, and I'm using that the least.
Yeah.
From now on,
That is
and
fair.
here's the future coming. From now on, nothing but empathy rolls. Okay.
Would you like to make an empathy roll? Because
Yeah.
in the future, that's how it works. That's how it works. Mhm.
I feel as though that is where it is. Okay, contacts, because and that was something I was going to do as part of my minor thing that came up the swap, because now he can use the contacts again.
Right, and that's one of the cool things about Fate is that after every session you can swap around a skill, and that swapping sort of represents in some ways the ways in which you're changing in that moment. And Jack, Gideon Fox had a lot of contacts, but Jack, being undercover, did not have them, and now Jack can actually use them because he is now pretending to be himself. Well, I mean, he is himself. Oh, that's I
know.
Yeah.
Time travel vocabulary sucks. It's a very strange thing. All right, here we go.
Okay, so that is not enough to get everything done in time. If you would like, you could succeed at a major cost, or you can spend a fate point.
Okay. This is kind of important, so I am feeling the need to spend a fate point. I just need to figure out what it is that we are tagging here.
Ooh, probably your high concept, right? Probably.
Friendly time-traveling master thief with a history of prestidigitation.
The prestidigitation.
I'll tag friendly. I'll use the friendly part of that because because I'm so gosh darn nice to people. Even nicer somehow than I was a week ago. We don't understand how that happened.
We don't know why. But also your history of prestidigitation will work, and I think that what happens is that you start putting in moves to sort of put together a show in Ghana, and that looks like it'll be fine. And I imagine you're heading off towards the airport, and you're right. Let's say, don't think I did not forget about you, Jack-a-Dash. And you were right about to get on this private plane to start making your flight when Haley gets some pings on her phone.
I don't turn my phone off even when the airline tells me to, because that's who Haley is. So I look at it blatantly without fear.
Why would you be even afraid? As you're about ready to get on this plane, you're like, oh, do I have any like contacts in like, Sierra Leone? Like I've got like howlers everywhere, right? There's howlers everywhere.
Let's figure something out.
Yeah, let's figure something out. It's cool. And you do not have any howlers in the town of Bontha, which is on this small island. You don't have any contacts there. However, you do have contacts in Freetown, which is the capital city. And you get a couple of messages back from one of your fans over there in Freetown.
Yeah.
And the friend is like, whatever you do, don't go to Bontha. That place is under a strict quarantine. There's been a terrible outbreak, a massive outbreak of plague that is they're going to shut the entire island down. You definitely don't want to go there. I mean, if there are any sort of doctors there, they're probably knee deep in sickness. They're not quite certain what it is. It might be Marburg, or maybe, I don't know, bubonic plague or leprosy. I don't know. Something very terrible is happening there. I mean, there are hundreds of people who are all dying of this terrible plague. The government is shutting down everything. You certainly don't want to go there. And there's a photograph that is included in your tweet, this DM that you have. And the photograph is clearly taken from maybe like a local television news station, but like somebody had like used their phone to take a photograph of the TV itself, because you can still see the TV. And the TV is one of those old sort of CRT tubes, so it's like it's not in HD is what I'm trying to tell you. And it's a little bit blurry, so you can't really see anything particularly well. But you just see a person, very blurry, and they've got a mustache, sort of brown mustache that curves down, wearing sort of glasses, sort of looks like a black wire rim glasses with kind of like a really nice sort of like a central, it's like a little bit thicker. I think that's wire, although from here it looks like it's wire. Short brown hair, brown eyes, very friendly face. Looks weirdly like John, maybe, but way yellower skin, like the yellow of my suit kind of skin, bleeding out of the nose. The teeth have gotten elongated and are kind of fang-like, not just like the incisors, but all of them. And this person's head seems distorted, or maybe it's just the photo itself. It's very, very blurry, and their mouth is open, as if they're going to eat something. But it's probably not John. I wouldn't worry about it.
It's not.
And this,
No.
and this little strange image you just get right as they're about ready to go onto that on your plane. Your friend being like, no, whatever you do, don't go there. That's bad. And in the photograph, you can see like soldiers with guns in the background.
Oh, cool. I think I text. Thanks for the warning, but I've always got to go where the clues are. And I do like an eye emoji, a magnifying glass, another set of eye emojis, and then an explosion, and then a lull.
I assume
And
y'all
then
get on the
I
plane.
think-
I don't know.
I get on the plane, but I think I sit across from John, not in like this next to, but I think like in the aisle across. And I think throughout the flights, whenever we can get up, I think Haley just starts to cover John in ice. Like every time they come back from the restroom, just like, I found this bag of ice. I think it might do you some good. When I'm sore, I always put it on. And so like that happens about 4 times throughout the like trip.
And just before getting on the plane, I don't know if this is something
please.
I can do. Can John send off an email to what's this? Not time travel Dr. Chen to see if they know the Dr. Brodier to maybe help set up a meeting.
Can you roll me contacts? Or if you like academics, either one.
They're about the same, so sure.
What do we got? That's fair. You send off the email. A response won't happen before you get to Sierra Leone, but you will get a response back. It's just it won't get there early. It won't get you before you leave. So there's a 20-hour flight for you coming up. 20 hours to get there from Los Angeles to Sierra Leone. About 2021. It's fine. And it is a long flight. John, you are hungry and famished. It feels like they just don't even feed you enough here. It's really frustrating. Yeah. Not enough calories, though. I mean, that food thing, it's real hungry. It's hard. We got Roller 300 donated an aspect, and I'm going to have that aspect come into play once you get off the plane. And I know it's supposed to go to Jack, and maybe it'll get him too, but I want to give it to John right now. And that aspect is going to be Ravenously Hungry, by the way. Just going to put that on you. You are ravenously hungry. And as the plane lands, and you are sort of moved into the small town of Bontha, when you get out, and this is like a small one of those, like you're transferred to a smaller plane, so it's just basically just you in this little small plane. And when you walk out onto the tarmac, because you don't go through they have the big tunnel. This is one of the ones where you like get out of the actual staircase and you're on the tarmac itself. And when you get out of the tarmac, you see, wow, how do I describe this in a way that will not make you freak out? I think it's fine. Maybe I'll just make you creep out. It's cool. you see like it's a small airfield because you had to take a transfer from Freetown over to Bontha. And when you get to this small little airstrip, it's one of those airstrips that probably would hold like 3 or 4 planes, you know? And it's got chain link fences to sort of fence in the airfield. And on the top of the chain link fences, there's a barbed wire, concertina wire is on top of it. And you see jeeps traveling one way or the other. You see a number of soldiers all around the perimeter of this airfield. And on the other end of the fence, you see people. People in clothes that are sort of ripped and torn, and their bodies are starting to warp and turn this bright yellow, and multiple eyes are on their faces, and they have 2 hands on each arm, and they seem so hungry, and they are sort of tearing, and these soldiers are shooting into this crowd of creatures, people. There are about 50 of them there. You're in the middle of a firefight as these soldiers are sort of shooting at these creatures. And then on the other end of the fence, you see a bunch of people who don't seem infected at all, and they're clamoring to get into this airport because they want to escape what is happening in this moment. And as there's this sort of chaos with sort of creatures on the eastern side of this fence over there sort of coming in, and then on the northern end of this fence, people who are just sort of refugees trying to get into this airport, and these military soldiers freaked out and shooting, and everything is sort of madness and everything is going wild. All of a sudden, Jack, you get a hand on your shoulder. There's a hand on your shoulder, and somebody says, Jack, and you only notice just the little edge that you can see right there on your shoulder. You see a bit of a military uniform and this hand on your shoulder saying your name. Can I get the full screen overlay, please? And there behind you, in a military uniform, is Renee. Renee, what do you say? And a much older Renee.
What timeline is this?
2 down, 2 to go.
And with that, we're going on break. I know. I had to have you. I had to have you in. I had to have you in before the break. I had to. Yeah, we're gonna go on a short break so that you can.
The music. Okay, fine. We will do that. But now I'm hype. It's your fault.
I know. I'm so excited.
See you in 10 minutes, everyone.
See you in 10 minutes. Hydrate. Stretch your legs.
Go stretch. Go
Stretch.
retweet, because... actually, no, don't retweet, because we don't want to give him
No,
another break.
retweet.
This is bad
Retweet.
enough.
Retweet.
Wait, no,
Retweet.
Don't.
Do it.
Why am I putting... My fingers are moving. Oh, God, the king in
Retweet.
yellow, come on.
Retweet. I just have my other hat right here in case we need it. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I'm so excited. I'm going to go and just when we left off, our heroes had arrived at the airport, this very small airport in Bantha, on this little island in Sierra Leone, because they were supposed to go and just meet this doctor, Lisette Brodeur, who is working with the Médecins Sans Frontières, and who's trying to work on. She's like treating people for what she thinks is the Marburg hemorrhagic flu, which is not. It turns out it's the King's Plague, but they don't know that, and they won't figure that out for years and years and years. And our team is supposed to go and meet her and like give her the information that they have from her notes, because she found a cure for it in 2029, and that is way too late. So they're here to go and try to get her that cure. And it was supposed to be super easy because in their timeline there were just a couple of cases over here in 2020, not a big deal. Becomes a big deal later. And what happens with this plague is that people get these symptoms and then they die. That's it. Not a big deal. But apparently they're turning into horrible creatures like they did in 2030 here in 2020. And there are multiple people who are there. And the government has shut everything down, put everything under basically, what do you call it? Emergency? No. What's the
Quarantine?
word? Nope. Military lockdown. That's not the word. There's a word. What is it? Martial law. Thank you, Missile Monkey. Missile Monkey in chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. They've put both quarantine and also martial law. It is both, right? So everything is super intense, and you're in this sort of really big, intense moment. And their friend Renee, who was part of that first team to go back in time, is there ready for at this airport in uniform, and puts her hand on Jack's shoulders. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I made that transition with a piece of music called Oppressive Gloom by Kevin MacLeod. And I'll just turn that song, Oppressive Gloom, right back on for you. Go ahead.
Yay!
Thanks, Kevin.
Jack, Haley, John.
Yeah, we're here to. Yeah,
Do you have any idea
me?
what's happening here?
This shouldn't be happening. Okay. So
No, it shouldn't.
I don't know if this is a direct result, but someone was trying to do a production of the play, and we stopped it.
Good, I think.
I don't know if there was a side effect of that, or if this was just something that already freaking happened. But I don't remember this. But we're here for presumably the same thing you're here for, Dr. Brodeur.
It's the only clue I have when I landed here, and I have no idea why and how. I wasn't part of that team. I wasn't supposed to get to her. I've never met her, but it's the only idea I have. I have not been able to. She is locked down.
Do you know where she is?
Do I know where she is?
You do not know where she is, but that is when John gets an email back from Elaine. This timeline Elaine, not our Elaine, but the Elaine who is from this timeline, who sends an email back with probably like, new email, and sort of says, oh yeah, I know Lisette Brodeur, and gives you the location of, like, there's an address of the location of where you can find the Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières, they're basically their camp, like where they're staying, because they're treating people there. And she knows the address of the place, so she sends you this address, and she says, I sent an email to her to let her know you were coming, but I haven't heard back from her. And she's like, why are you in Sierra Leone? And when did you leave? And then also, it's been nice to see you. I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, luckily it's an email, so I don't have to respond immediately. It's like, oh, hey, it looks like Elaine or Dr. Chen knows them, so they sent me their address, at the Doctors Without Borders, it looks like.
Huh.
So
Is, it,
maybe to get there that way.
is that inside or outside the perimeter?
Outside.
Which way? Is it towards the not the side that we will die, or is it towards the people running from something that will kill us?
That's such an interesting question. That's such a hard question to answer. Guess. Remember, the sound that I'm playing is called oppressive gloom. So
I like to think it's directly in between the two. So we're gonna get a little bit of both. We're gonna go this way. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Is the oppressive gloom music what we hear when we pull up the location on Google Maps? Just in our
yes,
in our
yes,
heads?
it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, why is that happening? You do have to go through, because you're at the edge, right? You have to go through the island to the other end to get there. And this is this place is primarily a fishing island. That's the main sort of agriculture. So there's a lot of like a lot of it's like not. This is a smaller sort of place. It's not a huge city. It's not like Freetown. It's smaller. In other places it might be a place you'd go on vacation, right? If you wanted like a really nice sort of some people want to sort of like go fishing, enjoy the beaches, and not have to deal with sort of like massive things. This would be one of those kind of places that you could go to. Right now it is not one of those places. It is it has some beautiful old homes. It's like it's a very sort of quaint and picturesque sort of fishing village, but right now it's a little bit less quaint and a little bit more under panic. And you hear gunshots, not just here around the perimeter with the soldiers, but you hear gunshots in the town itself. This is a place where a lot of people are heavily armed, and everyone's freaking out.
If we have to leave this place, you need uniforms, you need guns, IDs, anything that will get us through the various checkpoints. Do you have contacts here? Connections?
Oh.
Well, thankfully you're here to help us with those things.
I only have one connection, and she does the action film thing of loading the gun.
Well, I can try it. The people that I knew were kind of... old me had them, but old me is no longer around, so maybe I can try to... Yeah, maybe.
With the scavenger stunt, can I possibly get something out of that? I know it usually is just basic stuff, but a car potentially?
So this is very interesting. Most of the cell towers have been shut down by the government so that you cannot get access to in and out, except for Haley, who always has cell service, no matter what. It's in her character.
No matter what.
Haley always has cell service. Just so you know. She does. But once you sort of move in, you're not going to be able to get here, right here at the airport. You're going to have service because this is where the military sort of their little outpost is headquartered. So there's stuff here. But once you move in, you will not be able to. When it comes to getting things like you have a scavenger. With scavenger, you can get things like you can get a car to drive through. That is doable. It might be a little bit of thievery, but you can get a car. You can get things. This just looks a little. It looks a little dicey. It doesn't look very safe. Is what I'm going to tell you. That's what I'll say. It doesn't look very safe. I'm going to give you a picture. I'm going to save this picture. I'm going to give it to you, so that you can see what kind of a place you're going to be hanging out at. Because I want to give you a visual at the moment. Because I care. I just have to wait.
I also could lift some things, actually, now that I suddenly remember what I do. Even if there are things that I can't get through my contacts, I can probably get from the people here while they're not looking, quite possibly.
Here, I'm going to put 2 photographs in our image so that you can see it. Let me bring you here so you can. Let me see. Let's go to Timeline Dark. And I'm going to put 2 images up there, and then I'm going to bring you over to that place so that our audience can see it as well. But give me one moment so you can kind of see what Bontha, which is like not the biggest place, looks like. Give me one more second, because I want you to be able to visualize where you're at. And what's really great about Roll20, who I don't know, maybe we'll be sponsored by it. I don't know. What's great about them is that it's I know that some people are like, but I don't use maps. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to use maps, but you can use it for images. And that is one of the things I love the most about Roll20 is images, and also music like Oppressive Gloom are all things that I like. If you might, dearest Lydia, let's bring our players there. So this here would be, this is like what the kind of fishing village of Bontha is like in Sierra Leone. It's very picturesque. It's very beautiful. And the kind of place where you're going to is going to be one of these little huts like this in this sort of particular area. This is more on the outskirts. But also, let me to back. But this is what it looks like, what you're going to be driving through for the most part. This is sort of what Bontha is like. It's very crowded with sort of stalls and then sort of like larger and like sort of dirt roads, and then sort of slightly 2-story buildings on the sides. It's sort of dense once you get into the inner part of Bontha itself. But once you get to the outside, you've got kind of like beautiful sort of like fishing spaces with kind of spread out little sort of 2-story houses. But this is the town that you are going to be sort of needing to navigate yourself through. And of course, a lot of these places don't have, thank you for that, by the way, Lydia, thank you, don't have street signs, right? So there's gonna be a little bit of needing to navigate your way through and getting there. But I think more importantly, not getting murdered will really, I think, be the biggest challenge, I would say, to have, really. It's my thought.
How close are we to the edge of the water?
The airport, you're actually pretty close. Because the airport, the plane comes in with water.
And this is now going to be Haley. If we can get to the water, then we can get a boat. And now this is talking like Jack, Renee. They're not aquatic, right?
No, those are different folks, I think.
So it might be easier to go along the water. There might be less patrols, less blockades, less people.
Those look like they kind of got their hands full right now.
Do we know she's not in land?
John, is the office inland?
No idea. I don't know how to look up addresses here. Maybe you should ask someone.
Oh, I think like Haley's like the phone. And I think I was like, where are we looking for? What are we? If you have the building, I can find the map. I can find the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just show Haley the email. I think all the information is there.
Some people have a cell phone with service.
So
can
are
get
they
to
inland or are they?
to the frugal maps. Uh, where she's at is on the other side of this island. She's close to the water, right? But I mean, she's in a house that is near the water, like near the waterfront, because it's like in a, from looking at the satellite map, it looks to be a sort of a poorer part of the village on the other side, where it's a little bit less populated, where they're sort of basically doing a kind of a sort of a quarantine clinic, right? So they can sort of help people who are coming in, and there's like space to house them and help them. So you'd have to go around the island if you were going to go by boat, rather than drive through the island. But your phone, because you spent the points in character creation to get that, and I'm just saying, there it is, which was a good call. But you need a boat.
Yeah. Still, I don't have a pass. I don't have a gun. I don't have a car, but I do have a map.
I can.
Renee starts heading towards, I guess, the harbor, or see if there's any checkpoint, any particular soldier military situation that would be familiar to her, where she can panache her way through with jargon and absolute conviction and nothing else.
Of course. I think my question for you would be, I'm going to just ask, although, do you speak French?
I don't think I do. I don't know.
I
Hold
feel
on.
like you might. Why wouldn't you?
I might.
You just have to tell me whether or not you would speak French.
Didn't we put languages down, or is that a fate point situation?
No, you just tell me based on your character.
Okay.
Tell me if your character does your character speak French?
Yes. I always expect a trap here. I don't know why, Trooper.
I'm just asking.
Yes.
I'm
Given
curious.
the fact that they had several places they were gonna go to, they would have received rudimentary training.
So I'm just curious, what languages does Renee speak, just generally speaking, from her life before everything went bad?
I'm thinking English, Spanish, French, and just because I do, German. Wahaha.
Nice. Our Renee, our soldier who speaks 4 languages. I love it. But there's a whole backstory there. I'm like, I want to know more about Renee. But when you head to one of these soldiers, there's like a sort of checkpoints, and don't forget, you can always invoke some of those timeline aspects to help you out and give you some positive things. They just cost fate points for it. So there are 2 soldiers. There's a sergeant, and like there's a corporal, and they're sort of manning this gate, these gates are shut. And I imagine you go to one of the gates that's not where there's ravenous, creepy creatures hanging out, but there are all of these panicked people trying to get into the airport. They're at the gate and they're like shaking.
You know what? I am
itself.
going to where the ravenous creatures are, actually, because I think that the soldiers there will be more on edge, more willing to just wave me through. And if I show that I don't give a damn about these creatures, that pushes into the soldier concept.
It does. So one of them is like, one of them notes and goes, in French, what do you need? Jack.
I look at his rank. Is it?
He's a corporal.
What is he?
He's a corporal.
Never mind the civilians behind me. We need to get them to the medical office.
And he looks at these 3 civilians with you. It's dangerous out there.
Oh, we
Staff
know.
Sergeant?
Boat, car, anything. No, actually, I'm gunning mainly for the boat. We need a boat. The land routes have been blocked.
We don't have anything. We're just here. Staff Sergeant, I'm sorry. I don't have anything. Also, I don't know how you're going to get to the water. I mean, look at them.
Wait, are the creatures at the water? Is there no connection at all?
Their creatures are on the other end of the fence. You can sort of see them lurking. The concern being, if you open up the gate and get out there, they will get you. That is clearly what the soldier's thinking. Like, there are creatures out there. Yeah.
Let that be our problem. This is of utmost urgency.
I'm going to need you to roll rapport. Or provoke if you're being a bit more hostile. Either one.
Can John try to sneak past also?
Yeah. Give me stealth.
To put my character sheet back up. 1 second. I'm going with provoke. Boo.
That's a 1. That is not enough. You could spend a fate point, though.
I will. I do have provoke on +3, so
or you can re-roll, either one.
I might just re-roll then.
What aspect? That's fine. What aspect are you using to get that re-roll? Why can you, if you're not feeling like you're being provocative enough, sort of pushing them enough, what about you allows you to double down on that? Because they're like,
because
you're trying to pull rank. You know what I mean? You're trying to like bully your way through.
And
they're like,
I'm looking at the stunts. Yeah. I think I'm using the stare down of the unblinking eyes to when he goes a little bit, oh, we can't do this, but a bit scared here and there. I'm like, did I stutter?
No, Sergeant. And there's this look at these civilians who, two civilians who seem to have money, and this seems just really, really dangerous for them. But they unlock the gate, and they open up the gate, and they've got like their guns trained, because out there somewhere are these things. And you can hear them shuffling. You can see them in sort of shadow a little bit. You don't see them clearly, but you know that they are out there. It's just the details you can't see. And these soldiers are clearly concerned, but, you know, they let you go through. And Jack and Haley, John's not with you.
Did John just jump like Elaine? Jack, does this happen more often? Is this like the time, you know, the more we do, the more ripples?
Whether or not I would have noticed anything is probably dependent on what I was doing at the time. And the question that I have is, was I at the time attempting to obtain anything for us before we go through?
You can certainly do so.
In other words,
you can
like
certainly do
guns, uniform type things, passes, whatever, or are we mostly focusing, or am I mostly going to be focusing on stealing the boat?
Well, the boat you'll have to get to the water to get to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like you can.
fair.
So you could. There are multiple roles.
Yeah.
If you
That's
want
fair.
to
So
steal some
afterwards.
things, but but you can also make that roll now for things you
that's
might
kind of
want
my
before you leave
question.
the area.
Did before we got up there, was I supposed to grab anything from anybody? I think is my question. Since I'm sort of following Renee's lead on this, so if she wanted me to...
Renee is incredibly like goal oriented, no time to lose, kind of quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might
if we're
want to
getting
just
through here
grab
without.
her.
I'm sorry.
You might want to grab
wanna
whatever
just-
you. Yeah, because
So
I don't think we
I-
get
I
that
know
from
that
the soldiers.
Well, I know that I don't use a gun. I can't shoot for anything. Terrible shot. I don't know if anyone else here uses a weapon or anything. And Renee has one, but if Renee would like me to get
Haley knows how
a
to
different
shoot.
gun, Haley can shoot. You want
Mm-hmm.
you want a gun?
Hey, and you would know
Okay.
that because you've seen her. I think she did like a video where she was like on a firing range. It was very exciting.
Oh, awesome.
What,
Okay.
what was that video that you were doing?
It was specifically how to take down a running werewolf in 10 shots or less.
Nice. So how were the silver bullets? Did you find them good or not?
Honestly, at this point, the silver bullets are so expensive that you're gonna put it on your
Yeah.
5th or 6th shot. So the first 5
Oh,
are
yeah.
gonna slow them down so that it finally makes its target.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate all the tips we get because if I run into a werewolf, I know that I'll be okay. Mhm.
So I'm getting a gun trying to get a gun for Haley. Uniforms, credentials, anything else like that? Anyone think I should grab before we or is it pretty much just grab a gun? 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna grab a gun.
Anything you can get.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna need what we're gonna need once we're in there. I mean, it seems that Renee's pretty much seems to have this on lockdown, so I don't think this is gonna be too big a deal. But if other things happen to be nearby, that'll be fine. If there are like credentials or something nearby, that'll be awesome. But I'm focusing on just getting a gun for Haley to use, preferably one of the general variety that I have seen her use before, but whatever's available. So what shall I go with? Shall I go with burglary?
Yes, please. Yes, please, and just please burgle. If you could do a little bit of
shall
burgling. I also really love Wild. Wild is like really one of my best friends because Wild just makes really good choices and then tells me about them in DMs. And that's awesome.
That's awesome. I feel as though this will be a delightful surprise. I shall make I'm going to roll burglary now.
I'm just counting, by the way. I'm just counting rounds just for no particular reason.
Oh, that would be average. I feel as though perhaps I should spend fate points on this.
Yes, you should. What aspect would you like to invoke that would say that you can actually get this gun? I might recommend if you can work out one of the timeline aspects, that'll give you a positive check mark.
Oh, actually one has occurred to me, unfortunately.
Oh, nice.
But let me
Please.
just double check. Let me just double check. Okay.
Anytime you can use them, that will help you.
All right. So the timeline aspect I think I'd like to use is they're here to help us ? That I think the other me knew that I was going to try this and has basically put a bag down somewhere in my handwriting that says, "Here, you moron."
Okay, so describe it. So there's like a bit of like people are moving towards the gate, and you're like, oh, I need to get some stuff for our crew, and you're sort of like looking around, and tell me how you're like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna get it, but then you do because you have friends in alternate timeline places. Tell me how this happens.
So I think that it's like there's like a tent or a side building sort of somewhere that currently the troops are not in because they're out fighting monsters for the most part. And like some of them there, so it's kind of in a bit of disarray. There's stuff possibly splayed around that he's sort of well, he was looking for, but it's like, okay, no, they put guns. Where are the guns? The most important thing he's looking for the guns. They're sort of trying to fight the monsters. All right, where would I put the guns? If I were a military person, which I'm utterly not, so I have no idea where would they hide their guns? And so I go to like, okay, where do I hide crap? I hide crap under my mattress. I go into in there. I lift up the mattress, and there's this packet with a gun in it, and where Goth Jack is written, "Here, you moron."
Maybe
like,
maybe also some extra ammo in there as well.
Yeah, gun and ammo, and like maybe like there are a couple of uniforms or whatever. He's like, managed to get ahead of time, and like a gun, ammo, uniforms, maybe a badge or two, and it's just like, well, crap.
Hey, you know what? you have an alternate timeline crew that's trying to help out. I'm going to give you a check mark for that, by the way. And I imagine you're able to sort of catch up with the rest of the three of them as you're being let through the gate.
So
And
yeah,
when you get let
basically,
through...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
I was going to say, so when I come up and they ask me that question, "Where's John?" I'm just sort of like, what? Well, I just got back. I got the stuff, and I sort of fish out this protein bar. Apparently, this is going to be yours one day. sort of hand to Haley, mysteriously.
This is... I like to think it's actually the same one that she puts in her bag, and now in like 20 years, she's like, "Oh yeah, you'll need this. Give him some protein." I know
Yes.
it's not, but I like that canon.
Hey, you don't know. It's entirely possible, right? So it takes you about, let's say, what is that? 1, 2, 3 turns before you sort of get out of the airport, the airport area, and you don't have a car at this moment. You probably have to sort of go in, and that's 3 turns. Let's make a note of that number for no reason. Nice. John, it takes you about 2 turns to get to where you're headed, which is not the direction of the water, but it's cool because they might hear you screaming, and you're making your way towards... by the way, Jackie Ash's face right there was the best face ever. Just going to note it. You start making your way towards the sort of strange and in-shadowed sort of figures down closer towards inland, towards the village. And we're going to start this moment when you get within their space. Everyone else is 3 turns away from you. When you sort of move forward, you see... I am going to need... What do I want? I want to show you an image because I care. I mean, I suppose that's the best way to phrase what it is that I have. We're going to call it care. Sure. And I'll put that in there. Chat, you don't need to see it, but there are these humans, there are these people, and they are sort of twisted, and they're bleeding out of their eyes and their nose and their ears, and blood is coming out of their mouth. There's an old man who looks to be in his 70s, with sneakers and blue jeans and like a button-down shirt, but the shirt is ripped and covered in blood, and his skin is patchy. It's like a nice a dark brown, but then parts of it are yellow, and like the yellow's creeping up his face. And there's like an eye here that's open and looking. There's an eye here, like a tear duct, open and looking, and there's like an arm coming out of his face. And there are fingers on the top of his head. He's got 4 limbs, and there are so many of them. There are 8 of them in a cluster. I need you to make a will defense roll, because this is freaky. And as they have like pustules that are sort of bursts, blisters large that are breaking, and they see you and they start shuffling towards you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Would I have not seen this before in my dreams when I turned into one?
You saw it in Carcosa in Peru. When you were sort of dreamed back, you saw them, which means the difficulty roll will not be as high because it's not the first time that you've seen them. But I will need a will roll from you. That's fantastic. If you had not seen them before, you might freak out. You know what I mean? Like you might freak out. But you have seen this before in Peru when you went to the old Carcosa. This is something that happens when these seem to not be full Carcosans. These seem to be humans in some way, but they are hungry, and they see you, and they start to move towards you. What would you like to do? Yeah, and I need a piece of paper. No, I can do it on digitally because I need to take some notes because things are gonna be exciting for you right now. What would you like to do, my friend?
I'm to see if this one works. Can I invoke or use my stunt? Been there before to try and provoke them.
Ooh, what kind of provocation would you like? To make them fear you? What
Like,
are you going for here?
I want them to give us time. Be like, because in my dreams I have seen this, so I'm gonna try and exude to them that I am this person. That I know the hunger. I have met the king. This is part of the plan. You must hold in your hunger for a bit and let us complete this, please. My group must be able to pass.
I need you to roll provoke.
Can I use my been there before stunt?
Roll first. You can roll many things. You can use many. The stunt? Yes, the stunt is. By the way, is that a corrupted stunt? Or is it not? I just want to.
I don't think this one is specifically corrupted.
Bummer. All right, it's fine. Yes, you may use your stunt because you have actually been there as in many different incarnations of your dream self. Please do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one lets me use my lore instead of provoke.
Yeah.
So I'll do that.
I said there were 6 of them. Did I not?
Yes.
What did you roll? You rolled a 5. I'm going to just roll their defense, which is going to be will, to see how they do. Just to see. They rolled a fair, so that's you have got them by 3. I want to know if you want to spend any fate points to increase that. By the way, please take 1 shift of physical stress. 1 physical shift. As you moved in close to them in the same zone as them, in the same space, you can feel your skin beginning to sort of itch. It starts to itch and feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And so I will use a fate point.
Mm-hmm. What is the aspect that you're going to invoke?
I'll use Ravenously Hungry so that I look more like them.
That will bring you to 5 shifts that you put on them. And you see them. They are your words. Your words seem to get through to them. And you don't know if they really understand you or not. But they are still hungry, and pus still drips from their teeth, which are becoming sharper and sharper. However, what you can tell about them is that they are very uncertain. You think it will not take not much more to get them to back down. You think that they're on the edge, but who do you pass it to? You can pass it to them or any of your friends.
There's still 3 away.
They are.
Let's get it over with. Let's pass it to them.
Okay. You want to
And
pass it to them.
Can I ask what 3 away, does that mean distance or time?
Yes. It's distance. So on your turn, so Fate uses sort of like an abstract mapping system, so you can actually just do it as sort of theater of the mind. And so just define things in zones, and you are 3 zones away from them. And on your turn, you can move a zone. Although ranged weapons can go across more than one zone, if you know what I mean, for any reason. In case you wanted to,
for some random reason.
No, just for some reason, just in case you,
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything at all, but so they're going to go first. They're going to go next. There are 6 of them, and I will use them as a mob. So they're going to roll fight on you, John. They're going to want to eat you. That is what they're really excited about. They get a +5 because there are 5 of them right now. They roll a 7, which is an epic fight. It's all right. So you might want to roll athletics to defend. Just in case you're interested in that. If you would like to maybe not be grabbed by them and eaten by them a little bit. It's just, I would say athletics would be the way to go for that one. A little bit of dodging, here or there. So that's poor. Let's talk about that. Would you like to spend some fate points? Also, I will tell you this. You put a condition on them, which is wary and has 1 free invoke. Whenever you put a condition on someone in a conflict, there's a free invoke, which means you can use that for a +2 to help you out a little bit. That's a free thing you get on them that one time only. And would you like to spend some fate points?
You're muted, I think.
Oh, you're muted. Yep.
Sorry, yes. I'd like to use 1 and invoke my avoids troubling situations aspect to try and reroll that athletics.
Please do.
Oh,
okay. So you're 9 away, but you can use that 1 free invoke to put you up at 7 away. Is there anything else you'd like to do, fate point wise?
Oh boy. So great.
I just want to know how many fate points you want to spend.
To try and reroll or no?
You can. It has to be a different aspect.
Yeah.
You've used avoid trouble.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
It's up to you.
What else can I use? Journal.
Are we allowed to add our fate points, even though it's not
right
our
now?
turn?
He's a little bit far away from you, so you cannot help him
That's
right
fair.
now. If you can talk about how you could help him, then yes. But right now he's a little bit far away. You've got to get closer.
Fair.
Right now you're looking at taking 7 shifts. I just want to know how you're feeling.
These physical shifts, or probably.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. And which aspects do we have on the board? They're here to help us, which was used, right?
But you haven't used it yet on this roll.
Oh, I can use that one then.
You can use anything you want. You can only use it once per.
Yeah, then
per roll though.
Then I will try to use. They're here to help us to get a reroll for that. Okay.
How's them being here to help you going to help with this, give you a reroll?
Actually, no. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna use the plague is spreading, so I use they look more. I look more like them, you know.
Yeah.
So
okay,
let's use that. Get something better than a -2.
Okay. Right. That's a 0 plus that 2 that you get for your free invoke.
Okay.
Puts you 5 away, which
that puts me at 5 away.
You'll have to soak 5, which you can do.
So
well,
I have.
Yep.
One more fate point. I can
burn all that fate points. Love it. These creatures, there's 6 of them, and they're crawling towards you with their fangs bared, and they're reaching out to grab you, to grab onto you. How can you maybe just get a little bit out of their grasp, or cause them to pause just a little bit to make it so that whatever happens will be a little bit less?
Right, and gosh, I don't really. You know what? I'll sit. I guess I'll try and do it. I'll maybe I'll use my merges dreams with reality. My corrupted stunt. I'll get a little corruption from this. That's fine, just to help protect me. And
maybe you're just a little bit less corporeal than you might be otherwise, because you merge dreams with reality. Yeah. Could you please add a corruption to our dear John, which will bring him up to that's a 4 defense. Please take 3 physical shifts, which, if you like, that looks to me like you take 1 and then put a mild consequence. You can keep that 1 physical free, or your free stress. Yeah. And then you still have 1 physical stress free.
Okay.
Yeah. And then let's just call that bitten by the monsters. Let's just call it that. They, having grabbed onto you, they're clawing at you, and one of them is like bitten into you. They would like to pass it to... Who do they want to pass it to? They want to pass it to, Jack. Oh, by the way, John, do you yell out as you get bitten?
Most likely, yes. Especially if they're really nomming on me.
They're doing a little bit of nom nom nom. You don't have to roll. You hear John scream some distance away, close to where these shadows are. Jack, what would you like to do?
Crap.
They're passing it to you.
Yeah. Where? So where are we, and where is John in relation to us, as far as we can tell?
He's down the road, 3 zones. You'd have to sort of move closer to him, unless you have a gun, in which case you have to move a little bit closer. But he's 3 zones away. You have to book it.
Okay. I have distributed the gun to that who can use gun, and yeah. So I think right now it's just like just sort of looking down the road, sort of. I don't know if I see anything, but if I heard him from that direction, just be like, crap. And I'm going to try to just book it in that direction. That's really all. I think all I can do this round is run, probably.
What is your athletics?
My athletics is not horrible. It is a fair.
That's 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So normally, this is how it goes normally. Normally, on your turn, you can move a zone and do an action. But if you give up your action and just move, you can move your full athletics, which means you can go from 3 zones away to just 1 zone away. You can get so close to him. Just almost close if you would like to do so.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Jack sprints. Just sprints forward towards the sound of the scream and gets closer and closer and closer. He's not close enough to get to these creatures yet. Who do you pass it to?
I will throw it to... I'm going to throw it to Renee.
Renee?
Renee hears the stream as well. Do we see from here what's happening?
You see these sort of shadows and a clump of these shadows that are somewhat far away.
She will use her movement. She's already had the gun out as soon as they entered this area, and start aiming to see the creature biting at John, and that's who she's going to try and shoot.
Okay, so that sounds to me like what you're doing is you're going to sort of move, so you're 2 zones away, and then you're going to take an aim action. Could you give me a shoot skill to sort of create an advantage?
That's good.
What do we get here from you? What do we get? Oh, that is good. You get an advantage, which you can use next turn, that you have good aim, is what you've got. Who do you pass it to?
Haley.
Haley, it's you.
Okay. Well, this is bad.
It is bad, but it's cool. It's good for me.
It's cool.
What's your athletics?
My athletics is 2 as well, so I can get pretty close. And I can't take a shot, because if I take a shot from here, it's pretty much done. It will be like a 5 to hit.
Yeah. So you can, if you take your athletics, you can just spend the full turn getting close to him. Closer.
Right. I think I'm gonna try to make an I'm more worried about John. Is there any way I can use an opportunity, to create an aspect for John so that it's easier for him to overcome?
You could. Let's see. What would you want to do? How do you, because you're kind of far away from him, how do you want to help him as he's being chomped on right now? These creatures, there are 6 of them, are surrounding him, and they're clawing at him, and you can see his skin getting a little bit yellow and strange.
Are all of them on there, or is there like a separation? Did they like kind of break off because there was that little bit of like...
No, they're all up on him.
Okay.
Because he's the only person that they're seeing right now. And they're like, ooh.
Okay. I'm going to then, in a very bad move, move up 1. And then I think I'm going to try to use my rapport as, instead of a like, look at me, and kind of like a distraction to pull some of them off John. But I'm also hoping that because there's Renee with gun in between, that like they'll be really sluggish and slow, and then Renee can take her easy pot shots.
Okay.
So I'd love to create the aspect of like distracted that any people need.
Please
to
do.
use.
Yes, please make your rapport roll. I love this.
Okay. That
you're sort of making yourself a very, very attractive target for them, right? That they're like, maybe you are much more interesting than he is. That seems very exciting to me. I like it.
Yeah. It's different, isn't it? Huh?
It's the best.
Yeah.
They have a will of 1.
Cool. I can use my repar for that.
Yes, you can. Because you're trying to, like, you know, you're not threatened. You're like, look how tasty I am. I am super tasty.
Is there a way I can use an aspect of the Yellow King plague is spreading to get that, like, try to beat that so that we get a positive ripple as well? Is that because they want to spread it? Okay, cool. Cool. Let's do that.
Because
then.
as you know, as he pointed out, he's like, I've got it. Would you like to spend a fate point to invoke that aspect?
I would.
You've already beat it by a lot,
to.
but I just want to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way we can add
Spend your
that
fate
check
point.
mark towards a positive ripple.
Yes,
so
you
I'll
can.
take care of that fate point right now.
You create the aspect, which is, I'm going to just call this, are you ready? Haley is tasty.
Yes, that's great.
Haley is tasty. And that, by the way, gets 2 free invokes on it. So anybody who wants to use that to help when dealing with them, there are 2 free invokes on that one. Who would you like to pass it to? It looks like everyone has gone, so you can pass it to whoever you would like.
I think Renee, because Renee has that initial bonus, and also because the Haley is tasty to be like, ha-cha-cha, ha-cha-cha.
Yes. You will, Renee, you'll have to move 1 zone closer, but then you can fire at them if you would like.
I do move 1 zone closer as I hiss briefly at Haley, get behind me, fool, because points at all of Haley. And then I shoot. I do the shooty shoot.
I would like you to roll shoot, if you do not mind.
+2 for the good aim, is that correct?
Well, no. You can wait before you use it to see how it works for them. Like you have a choice. You can you don't have to use it until afterwards.
It gives me a box. I wanted to put some. I want to use that, please. Thank you very much.
Please use a fate point to reroll.
I'm going.
What aspect are you invoking?
I'm gonna use the. The volatile one.
Yes.
Can I just basically double shoot with that? So 1 misses and.
Yeah. Also, you're kind of a volatile person that you're like, no, I will kill you all. I mean, I've heard that about you. I've heard that sometimes you're just like a little bit of murdery. You may certainly re-roll as long as you spend that fate point.
Yes, I'm gonna do that. That's great.
Ooh, all right. That is a great. Now, let me ask you, would you like to use your aim for a +2?
Yes.
Because that's free.
I want
that's
that
free.
thing not. Yeah. I want that thing not to bite John, and I want that thing to preferably die a horrible death.
I'm going to roll their defense right now because I feel like they should do that. They roll a 1. That's a difference of a 5. So that's 5. Now, there are 6 of them. You can divide up all of those hits amongst all of them, 1 per if you would like. And if you spent, I don't know, that free invoke on Haley is tasty because they're a little bit distracted, that'll give you 7. So you could put 1 on each one of them if you wanted to, and then like 1 on the one that's currently chomping on John. So you could hit each one of them once for 1.
Do they look like that they're gonna crumble after that, or would that be?
Here's what you would say from looking at them. They're mentally taxed, but physically they're still pretty strong. You would say that you would probably need like 5 hits on 1 to take 1 out.
No, that I'm gonna use those 5 on that one next to John.
Yeah. You're currently at what? You're at 5, yes?
Yes.
You take out 1. How do you do it? The one that's right on John. How do you take him out?
The shot goes straight through the face of this creature, which is just gnawing at John. Was it neck, shoulder? What was it biting? And
Right there. trap.
It leaves a mess of an explosion as the shell strikes its head. John is covered in goo and maybe a finger in his hair.
Also a finger, just in the hair. Who would you like to pass it to? You have everybody and also the monsters.
I think I want to see how John reacts right to that, so I'm passing it to John.
John, the one that was gnawing on you is a mess of goo. There are 5 left, all of whom are a little bit wary of you. They seem to you to be, maybe you could convince them. Maybe you could. They're all up in your face, but maybe you could convince them. John, yes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could.
What would a convince them roll be?
You tried provoke last time to get them to stand down.
Yeah. Okay. How about this?
You feel you're close. You feel like they're
Going to
listening to
use-
you.
Ravenously hungry, eat the finger,
Okay.
and use rapport.
I want to make sure if I feel like I might not have heard you correctly. Did I hear you say that you take the finger that's in your hair, you take it out and you eat it, and you use this to rapport them? Yeah, I think that you should make that rapport roll. Also, please take 1 physical shift, as being close to them, this close, just feels infectious of them. I'm gonna roll their will. Just see how they do. How all of them are doing, you know? Tell me how you convince them to let you all go through. What do you say to them? These creatures who are so hungry. As your skin begins to itch and blood starts to pour from your nostrils. By the way, that was a takeout. He's taking them out.
As I'm reaching into my memories, trying to remember the dream, I tell them, follow the king's orders, for the feast is awaiting you in a Carcosa.
And as you say that, follow the king's orders, for the feast is awaiting you in Carcosa. One just gets very close, jaw opening wider than it ever should for any kind of human being. Maw opening towards your face. And then it sniffs you. And it says something. All the rest of you can hear what it says, but you do not understand the language. John, you understand the language. It's Carcosan. And it says, "Forgive us, Quiet One." And they bow to you, these 5, and they step away and leave the road open for you all to pass. As they are taken out of the conflict by deferring to the Quiet One. And you all see these creatures step out of the way. Haley, can you roll for me a will check? Because you've not seen these. You are now closer, and you see them now. And there they are. And I want to know how well you deal with that. Yeah.
I'm guessing not well. Let's see.
I don't know.
Let's see. That's better.
No. That's 1 mental stress for you. That's it. Just 1 little mental stress. Yeah. You are. Yeah,
cool.
That is fine for you. Yeah, it's cool. But the road is open.
At what cost?
Mm.
I'll just limp into the middle of the way away from them and be like, come on, we gotta head out. I don't know how much longer they'll stop attacking.
And he is bleeding, but his blood is a mix of red and yellow. It's fine, though. I wouldn't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all.
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Also, you saw him eating a
I
finger,
think-
just so you know.
Yeah. I think I look to Renee and Jack for guidance on this one. Because, like, I'm not going to go towards John until they're like, yeah, it's cool.
He's
Renee
covered in
will-
blood.
Run with them pushing Haley or dragging Haley along. Get to that harbor. Get to that boat. That's the main mission.
Mhm.
That being said, unless you, I mean, I don't know if we can just do that or if there's more obstacles
Yes.
on the way.
Mhm.
Once we're in the
Yeah, I
place
can
that is
knock her.
somewhere secure, she will literally nail John against the wall with the gun pointed at his forehead, going, "What was that?"
Oh no, I thought maybe we could talk them down.
These are not things you talk down, and not
It
normal
worked in the
humans
end.
anyway.
Only one bit me.
John, have you at all binged The Walking Dead like I told you to? Like, did you? Like, we had a lunch about it where I was like, you gotta watch that, and I knew how relevant it was gonna be in some ways. Like,
No, zombie movies scare me.
zombies movies scare you. Zombie movies
Wow.
scare you.
Wow, really? Look, I know clearly there's something happening to him. Maybe if we can get him to this to this doctor, they can do something.
What did they say to you? And she cocks the gun.
They said they were sorry and backed away. I think they just came to their senses, you know?
Is there such a thing as a bullshit-o-meter here?
There is. I would need you to roll. Now, if I remember correctly, John is not lying about what they said. Is that correct?
No, that's what they said. They said, I'm sorry, quiet one.
Roll rapport.
Oh, fuck.
Roll rapport. Let's see. How was John's rapport? No. Renee, you don't need to roll rapport.
Oh,
John needs to roll rapport. John needs to
That's
rapport.
fair.
Can he convince you? He's not lying, but that doesn't mean that it's going to come off well. And then I would need for you to roll empathy.
empathy.
Renee,
Alright.
roll. Yes, please. Okay. He is telling the truth. That is what they said.
Why would they apologize to you? Who are you? What are
I
you
don't know.
that makes these fucking things apologize to you?
Oh no, I mean they were people, aren't they? Aren't they technically still people?
They're not people. Doesn't matter what they were. They are not people.
If they're not people,
you
then
hear
we can't
howling in the
save them,
background.
though.
This is not our mission. Our mission is not to save them. Our mission is to save everyone who's left. And if you jeopardize that, doesn't matter which time I'm on, I'm coming back to murder every single one of you.
Please don't.
Jack, I think Haley's like,
Renee, Renee. I think your point is well received. Let's go ahead and get the boat. I think that his disease might be connecting him to something. I don't know. But if it is, then the sooner we stop that, the sooner we stop whatever's happening to him.
Cuff
That's
him.
what makes sense to me.
Gag
right now.
him. I don't care. Do not let him out of sight. Do not let him go about as he wants.
Okay, fine. And Jack will actually pull a pair of handcuffs out of his.
You're a magician.
I'm a magician. I also have a stunt
Yeah.
that allows me to, anything that I use
Yes.
to distract people. And these are trick handcuffs. Actually, they're not. But I don't tell anyone. And
I assume.
I think John's already got trouble with one arm, and I'm just so I'm going to kind of I don't want to limit my movement here, but I'll just sort of very carefully put the cuffs on him, and just kind of I'm just sort of smiling while I'm doing it. It's like it'll be okay, don't worry. And I just while I'm putting them on, and I'll show you a neat trick later. Okay, come on, buddy, we got this. And
Yeah, okay.
I start heading to the boat. Sorry, go ahead.
The creatures do not come closer to any of you as you make your way to the boat. At least not these creatures, which seem to be humans transformed. And out in the distance, you hear their wails. You make your way to the docks, the wharf. And what I'm going to need from you all is I'm going to need some kind of burglary of some sort to get that, to get a boat.
I have burglary.
Do you? I feel like maybe you
do.
should to make that roll. So if you can get a good working boat that is doable, I will need that from you.
I shall take a stab at it. Here we go.
You need a 3.
Let's see what we got.
3's not too bad. Good.
3 you shall have.
Would you like a that's a tie. So would you like a partial success? Would you like to fail and get a cost? Fail and get a boost, or would you like to succeed at a minor cost?
I have
just
2
a minor
fate
cost.
points left. Just for the sake of
Or you can spend a fate point. That also
I
works.
think for the sake of getting this, because I feel as though this is also of import, I'm going to go ahead and spend one of my last 2 fate points.
And would you like to use their here to help us?
I think I could do that. Would that if I invoke that again, will that give us a
yes,
whatever that word was?
Yes, it will. A positive ripple.
Okay, sure. So it's like I'm gonna go.
Tell me how their here to help you is going to help you out.
Well,
Tell me.
Once again, somehow has anticipated all of this. Perhaps because he did it 10 years ago. I don't know. On his timeline, and is sort of like is now put very carefully as I'm standing there trying to hotwire the boat. I just sort of look under the dash, and I'm just sort of like, there's a pair of keys falls out with another note attached. It's like, you don't have time to hotwire this, damn it. I'm like,
you do, and you get a positive ripple for this one, by the way. And I need one more roll before we close our session for the evening. I need somebody to drive this boat.
Who has drive? I've got 1, but if anyone else has got it better, they should take it.
This one's yours.
One is more than me.
I feel
right.
like you are Action Haley. I feel like you are Action Haley. You're gonna have to do
Okay.
You're gonna have to do this drive.
All right, I'm gonna drive, and I'm going to, if I
By the way-
fail, just use my map skill.
This is a 4, by the way, to beat. But you do have maps that has been established as an aspect, so you can always use that. And by the way, I would like to point out that I'm very roller. They use your Ravenously Hungry as in a positive way, and I'm very pleased for that situation aspect. So you can always put a fate point on your phone to give yourself a bonus.
Yeah, I think I
if you
will.
need to.
I probably, because I think with my 1, I don't think I can even get to 4. Right?
Oh, you can. You can get a 5.
Oh, I can. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I wasn't.
Your max
okay.
rolls a 4.
Okay. Cool. Let's try it out.
2.
Okay. All right. I can do this. I would like to use my I would like to use my cell phone, which still has serviced as a map. You know, ignoring the there may be traffic on your way. Would you like an alternate route that shows through the city? And I'm gonna ignore that request.
Like, not that route.
Yeah. So I get just 4 solid. And then
spend that fate point.
And I'm also going to invoke my trouble aspect, which is to drive clicks. You need to be over the top and be first on the scene.
Yes.
And I would like to be one of the first on the scene to interview this get the scoop. So I'm going to use that, like, avoid the blockade to be able to get my recorder skills going. And so I'm going to use 2 fate points to move it up to. So I get to 6 because I do not want to. I want to get there.
Yes, that 6 is very good. And here's the thing. I believe it's Lysander Gustav in chat who noted that you probably learned boating for your video. Is the Loch Ness Monster real? That's entirely possible. Like, I can imagine that being true, because you have a lot of interesting skills as a Fitstagram, and also you do a lot of random things, and I appreciate it. So tell us how you take this boat in not great weather around this island to where you need to go.
First, I do my, like, everyone has a seat, and I'm guessing there's not is there life preservers? Because if so,
2.
Haley puts one on. Haley puts one on. Because not having anything else today. And then we just kind of, like, you know, I offer the other 2, letting them know it's not cool to drown. Put on your life vest. And then I think I just take a, like, kind of slow. I check the engine. I'm assuming the only kind of boats are escaping boats or military boats.
That's right.
And I think anytime there's a military boat, I hopefully can kind of, like, signal to Renee to, like, stand up a little taller, or, like, we switch for that. Because Renee's got a really good, if that's okay with you, Lydia, switches over and takes, that way it looks like there's someone in charge commanding the ship.
Yes. And as you move slowly around, it takes a while, you see the house that's marked on your map, because you still mysteriously have cell service. We're worried about you. It's fine. You see this beautiful little 2-story sort of painted sort of like adobe place, quite large, with people on the outside sort of waiting around. A couple of people with looks like private security with guns, and you make your way in to this place, and it is remote, but it is beautiful. And as you pull your boat in, docking perfectly, Haley, come on now, you have done this. You find yourself at the Médecins Sans Frontières, the Doctors Without Borders outpost, where your Dr. Lisette Brodeur should be working, treating people with a disease that she has misdiagnosed because everyone else has as well. And as you sort of tumble out of this boat, knowing that the end goal is right there, if you can remember the formula properly, Renee, you hear a voice. inside the boat. It's your daughter. And she asks you, why did you leave? We were playing.
I'll be back.
No, but I need you now. Mom?
And she looks at the three of them. And takes a very tentative step towards them. Looks back to the boat.
Mom? Why would you leave? It's so nice here. Mom!
And she shouts at the three, I'll be right there. I just need to check something. And heads back to the boat.
Okay.
And as you step inside the boat, you find yourself somewhere else. Where do you find yourself?
At home. As it was. The day before Renee left for the mission. She's never been the greatest mother. She's always had other things to do, more important things to do, and has always told herself that one day Alina would understand.
And Alina is so happy to see you. And she rushes up to you, and she hugs you, and her arms are just like waist high. And she smiles as she hugs you, and she says, the best thing is that you don't ever have to go back again if you don't want to. Because it's really nice here. And she smiles warmly. And this is the best place you could ever be. It is so nice here. It is so friendly. It is so warm. There may be an apocalypse outside, but here in this place, everything is fine. There's no need to go back at all. And your daughter smiles at you with the biggest smile, and she shows you a picture that she drew for you, and it's your house, and it's her, and it's you holding hands, and they're smiling, these kind of stick figures, and everything is good here.
All right. So, mac and cheese for dinner?
And I imagine as you head towards the kitchen, she just sort of drops the drawing a little bit because she's so excited about mac and cheese, and the drawing flutters to the ground. And you see the front of it, which is the house and you and her. And as it flutters to the ground through the air, it falls face down, and on the back, there's a yellow sign. And you all are standing right in front of this lab. And if you check the boat, Renee is gone. And that's where we're going to end it for today. That's it, my friends. We're ending our episode right now. Yeah, there's no ghouls in there. There's just only joy. Now, I will tell you what, leaving a wonderful place like that is really hard to do. I wonder if Elaine will choose to leave the wonderful place that she's at. Maybe she won't. We'll just have to find out next week if Elaine wants to leave the wonderfully pleasant place where she's at. Everyone, thank you so much for being here for this episode. I'm so excited. Oh, mac and cheese. Oh, so nice. We have 2 episodes left. Next week, they will finish up getting this information to their doctor, one hopes, deal with, well, I suppose I should say, hey, you 3, guess what? Guess what? Do you want to hear something? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
Yeah. What?
You know those whales of the beings? You know how they kind of sound like this? Like that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's cool. As you are approaching this house, you can hear those whales way in the distance, way in the distance. But closer, you hear something else. Not so close that you could see whatever it is, but you hear a so that's cool. Anyway, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll be fine. Sure, whatever it is, we'll be fine. So let's go around and see how we're doing. Check in with our folks, and then we're going to do a raid afterwards. And I want to start with my favorite Carcosan, who took a little chip off the old trap to convince those people to stand out. And by the way, in case you all chat want to know, what's cool about Fate is that you can deal with conflicts either through physical or social, all different ways. And the combination of all of you together actually was what allowed John to actually burn through all of their stress and get them to stand down. So that was really cool. So Wild, who are you? Where can we find you? And give a star and a wish. Give a star and a wish.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So hi, I'm Wild Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me aside from here on Wednesday night or Wednesday mornings on Open for Adventure, where we are playing some Uncaged, and on Powered by the Players podcast, where we are playing Crossroads Carnival. Let's see. A star. I want to give my star to Renee for that lovely mother-daughter scene, in the idyllic house where nothing can ever go wrong. Just so wonderful. And a wish, I don't know. I think I wish John does manage to keep his humanity and try to save some of these people who are no longer becoming people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So speaking of saving their humanity, I feel like we should go over to other Doc, who may have weirdly saved the humanity of Gideon Fox by killing him and becoming him yet again. Yeah. Who are you? Where can we find you? And give a star and a wish.
We live in very strange times. Yes. Oh, good God. Okay, plugs first. Hi, I'm Jim. I'm Jim Ryan. I am a writer, streamer, and podcaster, or have been at various times. And my stuff can be found online at Otherdoc, OTHERDOC. Mostly that's either on Twitch or on Twitter. And good God. What am I doing? So yes, I have on my Twitch channel on Sunday afternoons when we're all available. We have a Dark Matter campaign that we have running. That's the Mage Hand Press Dark Matter, not the Alternative Dark Matter. So it's fantasy in space. And then on Tuesday nights on my channel, I am running a short campaign of Urban Shadows set in present-day Rome, Italy. And it's very awesome. And I think that I'm enjoying it at least quite a lot. And those are the biggies. I'm appearing also on a podcast, Tabletop Garden, that is releasing currently a series set in 1919 that's about the Great Molasses Flood, and it uses the Rosette Diceless system. Yeah.
The Great Molasses Flood in New England? That was super intense.
Yeah, in Boston, 1919. Yeah. There's a lot of tragedy up front. Yeah, on that one. And so it's very intense. And we're using the Rosette Diceless system, which I'm playing with the developers of it. And it's very interesting because it's all skill-based and hands a lot of the consent and narrative directly to the players. So it's a very cool system. And those are the biggies. Those are the biggies for right now.
That's still on the table for next week. I just want you to know.
Shaking my head in European.
I know. Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair. But this was great. I mean, as far as wishes go, I mean, I'd like to see I'd like to see a quick resolution to this part, and hopefully, so that we can. Because I know that we've only got 2 more episodes. I kind of wish we had more time, but to really roll around in this. But I know we've only got 2 more episodes, so I am looking forward to the. Yeah, I know, right? A cursed linear time, but I'm just looking forward to digging in really as much as we can on that last one I think that's the British Museum, because I'm very curious to see how this whole thing's going to culminate. So very eager for
that. Speaking of British museums, I feel like somebody who really knows their museums well would be, of course, our Instagrammer, Haley the Howler, because she probably has a whole video on like the most haunted museums, and which means that I should throw this over to Jackie Dash. Who are you? Where can we find you next? And give a star and a wish, if you do not mind.
Not at all. Hi, I'm Jackie Dash. She, her pronouns, JAKIDASH. And as spooky and scary as we get in this show, on Monday Fun Day, we're killing gods and taking names. We're almost at the end of Final Fantasy 13. Huge
giant
hair.
Swords?
Giant swords, motorcycles that turn into ladies.
Yeah.
You know, all that's in there. And if you want the feeling of tackling destiny because you're tired of fulfilling it, and so instead of turning into a beautiful glass sculpture to live for the rest of your life, and instead would rather be a zombie, tune into there. That's what's coming up next in the world of Final Fantasy 13. I want to give a lot of shout outs. I was really excited to be able to play with Lydia. I missed the first time Lydia came around, and so I really appreciate the intensity her character brings, because the way I play is jokey McJoke face. So it's really nice to have that across the table, so that we have those like the happy and sad masks that are on the front of museums, those things. And I want to give a shout out to Trooper 1 for immediately changing accents quite beautifully when I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to reach out to somebody in Sierra Leone. Like, that was such a little nice touch that like you didn't even have to work for it. It's so good. It's a part of who you are. You're exceptional. And I also want to give some shout out to Other Doc for just like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to be mean to myself. Like, that's part of my core of my character. And it also was a really nice relief and really stressful moments. So I want to give some shout outs for that. This is great. I can't believe we only have 2 left.
I know. We'll get there. We'll get there. But speaking of only 2 left, I feel like the person that I would want to throw to was a person who's only been here so far 2 times. That transition was so smooth. We'll just pretend like it was. Half Hour's Tournament. Who are you? Where can we find you? Talk about the game you're GMing and give us star and a wish.
I really enjoy coming on here, and I'm so happy, as sad as I am, that Steph couldn't make it this time. But I'm so happy I got the occasion and the opportunity again to be here, because there's always something that happens that makes me go, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, and to actually be here for it is great. There were 3 things that made me go, oh no, oh no, oh no, in the best possible way. In this case, obviously, yes, Wild's like, you know what? I'm just gonna sneak away, and that's when you already know it's like, this is gonna be the best worst. So that was that's my biggest star here. But I also really adored the whole, hey, eat me, I'm really tender, from Haley.
It was so good. It was so good.
The way the little ocean, it works so well for your character, Jim, because Ocean's 11 sort of, and now you see me, now you don't thing. It's always, well, you thought you had us, but we had planned for you having us all along. And that was perfect for those things that we found, or you found along the way, the supplies. So I love that. My wish is really only that the finale is gonna explode everything, and I have a hunch that this is not a wish. This is just what's gonna happen, because how could it not? How could it not? And there's a special star I want to quickly give to someone that many of you will probably know, because they're lurking in so many streams and creating wonderful art. And today they did this. That is Void Smoker, who is watching so many games and is contributing so much with their beautiful, beautiful pieces. And that is something they started last time, apparently, and finished today. And that is Renee being badass. And I'm so happy. I mean, I'm professional, but I'm so happy that Renee gets to be immortalized like that. And they've done beautiful pieces for Black Void and so many, many other shows. So I think they deserve all the props in the world. And please, please, please do give them a follow on Twitter if you're there. The link is in chat just now. Void Smoker, for those watching
Void Smoker's artwork is amazing. Yes. I love Void Smoker's work. And for me, that is totally Renee. Like, Renee is that woman who will make these sacrifices and will like walk into the flood with a gun and maybe an axe, whereas it seems like John's the person who will walk into the monsters and be like, hey, how you doing? I realize you're chomping on me, but do you want to talk this out? Because kind of your boss. And the monsters are like, yep. All right. I wouldn't worry about that at all. I love that. I don't, Jackie Dash, I don't think you gave us your wish. Because I'm writing wishes down.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think my wish is, as this is more of a like getting us into trouble. I'm looking forward to when all of the when Elaine comes back and is going to be like, wait, Haley killed my best friend. You let John get affected. John, you snuck off and ate a finger. Like, we're all going to get in trouble.
I'm going to just write this down in my notes as wish and Elaine talking to. That's who I'm going to, that's what I'm going to put down there. I love it. And I am Trooper SJP. I am the GM for these shenanigans and game moderator. And I want to say thank everyone for being here in chat. Thank you very much. I love and appreciate how much support you're giving. And by the way, Roller 300, who donated for that aspect, Ravenously Hungry, that is going to be our title for today's episode. So you donated for Ravenously Hungry, and that is our episode title. Thank you, Roller 300, for that. And don't worry, I'll mess with Jack a little bit next session as well. Don't even worry about it, because Because I feel like Other Doc wants that, or more like I want to do that to Other Doc on your behalf. So that is going to be what happens, and we're going to do a raid right now. It's me, Trooper SJP. If you want to find me, you can find me tomorrow at 5 p.m. over at Kobold Press for a special session, like a special one-shot session of Into the Southlands for GaryCon, at 8 p.m. over at Praxagora the Smophoria. Hold on to that name, for Romance of the Blue Rose. And then you can find me on Wednesday at the same channel, Praxagora the Smophoria, at 8 p.m. Eastern for Witcher, Roads Home. And of course, always Fridays at 7 p.m. on my channel, Trooper SJP, for City of Light and Shadow, which is a Fate French Resistance campaign. But now we are going to go and raid Praxagora the Smophoria. She's doing a 12-hour charity stream to raise money for the World Kitchen. And we're going to do that right now. So take care of yourselves, drink some water, some hydrate, give yourself some loves. Have you seen the yellow sign? And let's go and support Prax.
These are the tales we weave. Tales of magic. Tales of mystery. Tales exploring the beyond. And while we continue to grow, even more adventures await. In the depths of the unknown. Will you join us in the telling?